Hey guys, welcome to 4PlayerAnimecast. And it is the 8th of January. I think most everybody here at least have seen some snow outside the windows in the past, X weeks. We are in the new year. I hope everybody had happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It is the year 2022. We are a week into January, and I think this is actually the week where the new anime series with the winter series do release. So if you do want to check out our impressions on the new series coming out, the previews, do check out on our preview show. But yeah, the preview show as well as obviously this upcoming anime awards show that we saved up for the new year. But before we get into our end of the year for 2021 at least awards show, let's go around real quick, get some good cheers going. Nier, we have Nier here with us today.
Yeah, hi.
Toast. Toast is dead. He is
What do
no
you want? What do you
longer
want?
okay. Hey Toast. And Dark.
Hi. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yes. What is it?
Man, it
What?
feels like it's been a whole year since I
God damn
last saw
it.
you guys.
I'll allow this for this much.
That's
we
still not how it goes, but sure.
yeah. we I'll just give it to to Toast. But yeah, so everybody's here and willing to go. So I guess let's just get right onto it. Um, we skipped around. I want to say 2 or 3 weeks because each week was Christmas into New Year into this week. So we had a little bit of delay between the preview show from our last episode and the awards show, but we are having this one and we're going to go down the line. It's going to be for longtime viewers of this show. It's going to be pretty much the similar categories as it was in the years prior. We're going to go through a bunch of standard categories. It's going to just run through the gamut: characters, voice acting, visuals, audio, general series. Anybody who has some sort of personal awards or their unique sort of awards that they want to throw out, they can. And then we're going to go down to obviously our worst and best or least favorite and favorite series, and we're going to go on after that. So yeah, let's or also, some of us, or at least I hope most of us, when we're explaining, we usually explain like what standards we're actually going by when we're giving out this award. Although most of the time it should be pretty obvious, right? It's not, if we're like best opening or best visuals, it's usually pretty obvious what's happening there. Or like, um, so yeah, let's go on. First on the list, we have Best Character. And I want to start off with Dark. What do you have for us?
Hi. So for my my best character, I chose something I actually went back and forth on for a little bit, but
Uh
I
huh.
went with Ninomiya Kinji from Make You Black Company.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So I thought that the series did the sort of like esque character pretty well, and I
Mm
thought he kind of worked as a really good glue to sort of like wrangle the rest of the cast in, play off of. So
hmm.
I thought it was done very well. I think that there were other series that tried to do this sort of character and failed even in recent memory. I forget the
Hmm.
exact name of the show. What was the one in was it like last year? It was the one where like you were the um what's it called? It was like the space company, like the guy who gets shot out of the pod down to
Wasn't that the one
planet.
by the Konosuba author?
Yeah. So I think that Make You Black
Combatants will be
Company.
dispatched.
Yeah, I think
combatants
that
will be
this
dispatched, right?
feels like something that they would have made.
All right, no, I know exactly
Character,
what you're talking about. Yes,
but
yes,
like it's
yes.
literally better than than
It's
combatants will be
literally, yeah,
dispatched.
it's actually
like-
decent.
It's like what if combatants will be dispatched but was actually good.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's why I chose him. I think there were probably you could probably argue for like better written characters during the year. I could probably make the case for others, but I thought that overall to this series that he was, important enough.
Okay. Good. Toast. What about you? Best character, please.
What?
Best character, bro.
Best character.
I had 12 choices for best character.
It would be good if you put one, because
Huh?
the qualifier is best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were all best in their own field.
Please pick.
Like my obvious
Yeah.
choice was uh, uh let's- was I can't read that. What did I write? My obvious choice was that one character from Azure Lane. Pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
Honolulu.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Nothing more needs to be said. Honolulu is great.
Okay.
And then my other choice was you know what? Fine.
Who won?
Who won?
Yeah.
My other choice was going to be Fubuki and Matsuri from the Detective is Already Dead. They count, Spire. You can't tell me they don't count.
No, they're absolutely characters in an anime. As for whether they're
Yeah, they count. They have a cameo.
so, why would you say
yeah,
that they're best
my
characters?
choice-
who won?
Could you tell us a little bit more about your how you graded these characters?
The characters that I liked.
Simple
Pretty
as.
much, yeah.
All right.
What else? What other qualifications do you need for best character other than hey, you like that character? There you go.
All right. Well, thank you very
Who
much,
won? Who
Toast.
won?
Oh yeah. Who won?
Wait, what?
All right. I picked say Takanashi.
From?
Seijo
That
no
good.
Marioku wa Bano desu.
Okay.
The Saint's power. What is it? The Saint's magic
Saint's power is
is
omnipotent.
omnipotent. Yes, the Saint's magic power is omnipotent. I am bad. I am bad
No,
at speaking
Spire.
native
It's
English.
omnipotent. You can't tell me how to say it.
I don't think that's
Okay, I
true.
apologize. But anyways, again, thank you very much, Toast.
Yeah. No, do you want me to explain? No. Okay. No.
Oh yeah, sure. Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
She's a good character that moved the plot. She's very cool. Because my other
She's very
choices,
cool.
my other choices are like, you like Honolulu? Yeah, I do. You like
Yeah,
you like
I
Fubuki?
guess.
Yeah, and Matsuri? Yeah. But it's like those are cop out choices. I need one that actually moves the plot along and
No. I appreciate.
stands
No,
out
yeah.
amongst the rest. But it's like, yeah.
No, I
Wow,
understand. Yeah.
wow. It was a painful decision, unlike last year, where it was absolute. What did I pick last year? Was it Nero? I think it was Nero.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So that was an easy pick.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll give it to Say because I like she's obviously the best character in that series. And that series has some strong characters, so kudos to her.
All right. Thank you very much, Toast, for your best character. And Nier, what about you?
So my criteria was pretty similar to Toast's, where it's sort of just
Okay.
like characters that like I got the most enjoyment out of. Because personally, I don't really, I don't tackle many of these categories from like an objective standpoint. Otherwise they
Okay.
get a little bit less interesting. Um,
It gets a
yeah.
little bit more one-sided, you mean?
yeah.
Okay.
But I went with Adam from Skate the Infinity.
Okay.
Not the Adam from Record of Ragnarok.
No. For those who don't know, Adam from Skate to Infinity is the I guess villain through the series, and he's very much a very larger than life character. He's very cartoony. He's very gay, um, and
Extremely gay.
yeah, and it helps that he's voiced by Takeru Koyasu,
Ah,
who
okay.
really
Okay.
helps bring him to life and just sort
Mhm.
of he's very much like the highlight of any scene that he's in, right?
Mm.
And he really brings a lot to the show. So I gave him this character.
Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. My best character mainly goes to it was a tie. It was pretty close. But I ended up giving it to Bocchi from All Summer Ranking. And All Summer Ranking itself does have a lot of characters, and I'll be I might be going on a rave or two throughout this podcast, but I do like the beginning. It's very cheesy how the character is made, but it's cheesy in a way that it's hard to get away from. It's not cheesy as in it's not an obvious throw to like it's not an obvious bone throw. It's not an obvious hey here audience you be go through some catharsis, be emotionally engaged. It's not really as much like that. It's a very like honest, oh, I'm struggling, but this is what I got to do, this is what I'm going through, so on. And I do like that way. I don't necessarily, I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, Bocchi is a very unconventional, cool, super, XYZ sort of character, but the value he brings is definitely there. So Bocchi was one, and an honorable mention goes to Fushi and To Your Eternity. So yeah. So that was our best character. Next on the list, we have best overall cast. So again, let's start with Dark.
Well, okay, so this was another one that was kind of a toss-up. I
Uh-huh.
was considering Osama ranking, but
Mhm.
then I did have to go with the cast of Horimiya.
Yes, no,
Going
I
back
understand.
through,
Yeah.
yeah, going back through like what I really thought about that is I
Uh-huh.
really thought that they kind of juggled all of the characters really well in their interactions. I felt like they managed to pull off like multiple sort of like love triangles and beyond, and
Yes.
resolve them very reasonably and rationally, without sort of spinning their wheels with these characters in sort of like the same way we've seen millions of times with other shows. So
Right, right, right.
I just thought overall it was a really solid cast and for a much better uh, experience watching like a rom com sort of show,
Mhm.
especially one where even the character interactions were far more.
Right. Okay, okay. No, I definitely understand. Uh, so that was Dark. And what about Toast?
What?
Best overall cast, please.
Best overall cast?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, what did I write down? Best overall cast.
Mm-hmm.
What did I? Was it Idly Pride? Did I put down Idly
I
Pride?
did.
You're asking us, bro. I don't know.
No.
You
What's anime like Idly Pride? That was pretty good.
or maybe you're talking like Selection
Oh
Project or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
What are you talking
Selection
about?
Project. I like Selection Project.
Okay,
That's a
I'm
good
glad
cast.
yeah. Okay. So you
Oh,
like the general sort of realism of the
I
characters?
liked all of the I liked all of the girls' little mini arcs, and each of them were
Okay.
pretty strong. Some of them were slightly weaker than the others, but overall, it had a good, memorable cast. I don't remember their names, so I remember their character arcs though, and that says a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's under yeah,
In a series, most series where it's all like, oh, this these characters just exist to move the main character along. All of them in here
Okay.
at least have their
Right.
own mini arcs and have their own. Their arcs are strong enough to stand by
Okay.
themselves. That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Pretty good. All right. Thank you, Toast. What about you, Nier?
So, this is a category that I was kind of thinking of just like throwing some like something that was more comedy focused and I thought had good interactions. Like say
Okay.
Hey on Sedai or something. But then I was
Okay.
thinking about
Right.
it, and I think it would be very remiss of me not to give this to probably the most character-focused show of the entire year, which is Sunny Boy. And
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Sunny
Okay.
Boy is a series that is entirely driven by its characters, right? It is
Right.
pure character story.
Mhm.
And I think it's really good at it. Wow. So like, I don't think there's really much for me to say other than the fact that, the series lives and dies by its characters and it's a good fucking show. So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
it's got the best cast in my opinion.
Right. Okay. Yeah, a lot of you guys are pointing out pretty good stuff. Like I like completely
What did
like.
you pick, Spire? Huh? Sounds like you had a bad one. What
Well,
did you?
Yeah,
I
What
don't
did
sounds
know
like
if
you?
we
I.
got you on the ropes here,
Yeah,
bud.
Spire. What did you pick?
Yeah.
Did you pick
You
Redo of
got.
Healer?
Yeah, I picked. I pretty much went down the road that again Dark didn't, and I ended up picking Osama ranking mainly because I liked the
Oh, that is not
um
what I picked, but okay.
no wait because you said no well I said I went down the road that Dark didn't is
Oh,
what I
okay. I thought you
said.
said that I
Yeah.
did.
No. I went down the road that Dark didn't, and picked Osama ranking because I do like the sort of divergent development that the additional development, even that the villains and the people that were initially portrayed as bad got. And the thing that I also liked is that the writing took some additional time to portray the villains or again the people that are supposed to be quote unquote bad as more human in a way that's not just some Marvel movie. Oh,
Hey
I'm
man.
bad, but just because I have to make a sacrifice.
Hey
That
man,
very
are you
like
saying Thanos isn't a well-written villain?
This guy hates
no,
Thanos.
Thanos. Yeah, I apologize to all of the Marvel fans out there about to
This
cancel me,
guy.
Yeah,
but
why
I
didn't
bet.
he duplicate the resources? There we go.
I
You
bet this
can't
guy did.
do
Case
that,
closed.
dude.
Case closed.
Spire, did you even watch Loki?
oh yeah, no, yeah, I actually did. Oh my god, but that is neither here nor there. But I really do like the extra time the writing went for to again kind of develop the characters that even in like 99% of series they would just kind of leave it as like oh they're just bad people or they're bad people but they have to do it because they grew up in that circumstance or they met with a bad experience and then they became bad and it becomes simple as that. But I do like the way that also ranking went out of its way to do to really develop them. Honorable
I kind
mentions.
of,
Yeah.
I was going to say on that, I would like to add, I did, one of the things I really liked and why I was considering giving it the best cast. I do like how they also pretty much introduced them as sort of like, say, here's a storybook-esque villain.
Right.
And then sort of like go beyond that, like kind of cartoonishly like a storybook villain, and then
Right. No, yeah,
give you like
exactly.
the why.
Right. So it's not just like, I mean, honestly, even if they were ending it like that, like with a series somewhat like this, you might have understood, right? Because it was that tone, but they didn't.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
then
big thing,
and
right?
then they pull it around and they're like, well, are they really though?
Yeah, exactly. That was a good or that was a sucker punch in a very good way. So yeah, definitely pretty good. So that was that, and then honorable mention again goes to Shadow's House. I think they did similar thing with kind of developing all the side characters very, very well. In my opinion, in terms of screen time balance, Shadow's House even had a slightly better balance than Osama Ranking did. But obviously, Osama Ranking had some focus on its main characters, so that was inevitable. But I do think that Shadow's House had a little bit better balance in terms of character screen time, and obviously Horimiya as well for pretty much the exact same reasons as Dark mentioned. So honorable mentions to those. So
Yeah,
that was that.
Name one character in Osama ranking. That's not the Osama.
Daida.
Who's that? I don't know. Who's that?
The jealous like half brother, right?
Is that the one that crushed that tree into diamond?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, that. Anyways, the next on the list here. Sorry, the next on the list is best voice actor or actress, which we don't discriminate by gender, obviously. But
Don't you mean the best voice person?
best voice actor.
Here,
But yeah, so Seiyu, I guess, if you want to go that way. But yeah, best voice actor, starting from Dark.
Okay, so yeah, one of my coin tosses with best character was Adam as well. So I gave this to Takahito Koyasu, specifically
Yes.
for Adam
Uh-huh.
Skate, just because I mean, again, fucking killed it in that role. And also, I mean, are there roles that he didn't kill? Like, let's be
I
real.
mean, with a voice like Takehito, you remember when he did he did the Japanese dub of Deadpool, right? Like,
Yes.
if you could do that with that voice, like you could do anything. Like, I'm sorry.
Isn't that Dio's voice actor?
Yes.
Yes, and
Okay.
Dia's voice actor,
So-
Zato's voice actor, Guilty Gear, so on. Yeah.
Kind of just
He's kind
just
of a good
wrecks
voice
everything.
actor.
Yeah. The interesting thing is like even with that sort of like very unique tone where you like it's that voice, he managed to do a lot of different voices that you were like, oh, this makes sense in this character, but it's still Takehito Koyasu,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, okay. Toast. What about you?
My pick
Hmm.
was a four-way tie.
Okay.
Four-way tie because they're my favorites, and you can't make me
Okay.
pick them. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
My
Yes.
mine was Yoko Hikasa for obvious reasons.
Yeah, Yoko Hikasa was definitely strong this year.
Do you even know
Pretty
who she
strong this year.
voiced? Fire.
Fuck it. No, because I had
She-
terrible memory.
You say that, but then it's like, do you even know who I'm talking about?
Kasayoko?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Why? Yes, I do know who Kasayoko is.
No, do you
I
know
just did.
do you know what role I'm talking about that
I
you
mean,
did really well
is
in?
it just Honolulu again, or what?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, of course.
I don't. What else was she in? I don't know.
She
voiced
actually,
Honolulu, and that's all that
Kasayoko
matters.
actually voiced fucking Asakura Yu in Shaman King.
Yeah.
As well
Does
as
that count?
White Blood Cell. I saw that work. It's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Uh,
Or you're talking about was that Cyber Black, right? That's a
Yes.
spin-off.
Udagawa Tomoe in Bandori or Bang Dream. Kiara, Redo of Healer. Let's see. Estella, Vivi.
I mean,
Tomoe, yeah. I mean, she does like she's done heavy duty roles.
that
in the
means
back
nothing to me. She voiced Honolulu and Azur Lane. That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
Okay,
Also,
well, go on.
my other three were obviously Fubuki Matsuri and Nene for their
Okay.
roles in whatever.
Of course.
Right.
I forgot.
Whatever the fuck they voiced. I don't know.
That's not relevant what roles they did.
I mean, it kind of isn't. It's like, oh, fine. I remember now. They were in that detective one, and then she was a minor side character in World's Greatest Assassin or whatever. That's cool. They get my vote because they're cool.
All
There you
right.
go.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I need to double back to mine. I was going to have a shout out, and the shout out was going to
yes.
be to Sakaguchi Daisuke, specifically for his role in X-Arm as Beta,
Yes,
because
yes, yes.
he
Yeah, buddy.
fucking absolutely phones it in. Like, not a fucking care in the world. Other
He
voice
kind of.
actors
It
are
was pretty
kind of
obvious. Like at
trying.
that point, he kind of knew. Like he was just like,
Oh
"Fuck
my
it."
god, there is an episode
He absolutely
where
knew. He's literally just
like,
making noises at some
yeah,
point. Like,
he just like rolls his tongue, like sounds like a fucking idiot in the episode, and it is amazing, especially compared to everyone else around him, like doing a pretty decent job for what it is the entire show. To
Mhm.
him just being like, no, I don't give a fuck. He's also not even credited as it, as like a half of the cast isn't
yeah.
on Mall, which is incredible as well. But
Oh my
man,
god!
just
What a hero!
amazing, yeah,
What
amazing
a
in
hero!
performance, and so clearly knowing exactly what he's doing.
It's like actually like at this point, fuck all of you. I got my money anyways, and it's not
Yeah,
even
I
that much
mean,
money,
he
so
read
fuck
it
all of
and
you.
he
Yeah.
was
You
like,
know who
yeah,
else wasn't credited?
Who else?
Don't worry about it.
Oh my
like
god!
half of the
I'm not
cast.
saying it.
I knew
No,
it.
I mean,
No, I know what Toast is
don't
talking
worry
about. All
about it.
right, yeah, whatever. Ignore Toast. Keep going. Dark.
No, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Like
Uh.
fucking insanely.
All right. But yeah. Anyways, the hero of the year aside, Near.
Yeah. So I was very close. I was very, very tempted to give this to Miano Mamoru
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
his
Okay.
role in Urimichi Onisan, right? Purely
Yes.
because
Okay.
he delivers probably the most real, genuine laugh to dick jokes in a series
And
I've
ad libbing.
ever
Yeah.
heard.
Everybody was just ad
Yeah,
libbing constantly there. It
yeah,
was obvious.
it was
Yeah.
really good. But
Yeah.
I ended up giving it to
Mm-hmm.
Romy Park,
Okay.
because she's one of my
Understandable.
favorite. She's one of my favorite voice actors in general. Um, and she did Hayato from Heian Sedai this year,
Uh-huh.
along with reprising her role as Ren in Shaman King. And she did some supporting roles, I believe, in Vanitas as well.
Right.
And
Right.
I love her voice. She's super flexible. She
Mhm.
can voice like, she's voiced everything from, you know, uh, Ragyo from Kill la Kill to Edward
Mhm.
Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, right?
Which season?
Right.
Um, I just in general, I'm pretty sure, pretty sure both. But yeah, I think she's an amazing voice actor. She did really well. This year she did a super good comedic role with Haito, and then of course she did supporting roles in Vanitas, I believe, and then obviously reprised her role in Shaman King here,
Mhm.
which is I think believe a more serious role as well.
Right. Right.
Yeah, just super good voice actor.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Honorable mentions to, of course, Suda Kenjiro for
Oh, God. So the
being
Kenjiro, I don't
being
know
Suda
what.
Kenjiro.
Also, because he gets like about I don't know I want to say like 800 rolls per year. It's
Yeah.
like look at if you look at the past like couple of years, it's actually silly. Like his 2018 I think rolls, yeah, his like 2018 rolls take up an almost entire page, like the entire screen on my
Yeah.
on my monitor. It's actually a fucking joke how many rolls he gets per year now. Okay, good. So my award for best voice actor actually goes to Murase Aimu. Murase Aimu being famous for doing Hinata Shoyo in Haikyuu, um, but mainly known for having a very girlish voice for like a boy. It's sometimes like he even like does like female voices. Like he tries to do like he can do like female voices. Uh, and as like part of joke plays and events and stuff like that. So that's sort of what he's known for. And this year he had a pretty big year. He had a bunch of main roles. I believe he had one main role in Battle Game in 5 Seconds. He had a bunch of other stuff where it's like Kimono Jihan. He obviously took part in Pretty Boy Detective Club with Soutoi Manabu.
Yeah.
He did Kage in Ranking of Kings, pretty good surprise, but obviously shows his range, right?
Yeah.
He'd had, a bunch of other stuff and, more Fujoshi stuff as well for obvious reasons. Shobarog, Stars, Case Vanitas. He did the elf in Faraway Paladin. He reprised his role as Iruma and Iruma-kun. He has a lot of flexibility and a lot of sort of value, and he did a lot of big roles this season. That isn't to say, obviously, other voice actors / actresses didn't do a lot of big roles. Obviously, everybody was, rolling out the hitters. But in my eyes, I think this shows very, good range, and obviously a lot of sort of big main cast characters for his role throughout the year. So I will give my award to him. Yeah. And so yeah, next one. Obviously, if there are some people in our podcast group that might not be as super nerdy on the whole like voice actor / actress thing as I am, perhaps. So if you guys don't want to do it, you guys don't necessarily have to. But best newcomer voice actress. So I guess go to kind of settle it. This year was a little bit like I think I don't know whether it's due to COVID / like what's happening with general supply and demand of anime industry stuff and shifts towards YouTube and so on, but there wasn't really necessarily a super pop out rising star. And I also think part of that is I think after the absolutely meteoric rise of someone like Fairu's Eye, the bar has been set way too high these days. After Fairu's Eye, it's just like
Who's that?
Fairu's Eye. It's the person who started out Tambere and now she's doing Jolene, right?
Isn't she the one with nice muscles?
She's like a gym person apparently, yeah. But
So you're saying her muscles aren't nice?
I mean, she looks fine to me. I
Wow,
wouldn't know.
small
I
look
haven't
at
seen. I haven't seen like
Spyro's muscle bar
sure
is
flexing
very
and stuff.
high.
Wow.
But anyways, but yeah, after the like ridiculously high bar that Fairu's Eye set, I think honestly she had much more. She had an even more meteoric rise, and I want to say even like, I mean, she didn't win a newcomer award, I think, in her year, right? In the year that she
I
ran
believe
up.
so, but
Yeah, which is super unfortunate. But in my opinion, at least, like the way she like went through the ranks and went through all the events and got all the recognition and got all these like boom, boom, boom major roles without being like, because a lot of newcomers kind of rise up and then they kind of sink back into supporting roles and then they rise up again, right? Like a few years later. But she's just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna get JoJo roles. Like, fuck
Yeah.
you guys. Like, I don't need these supporting roles. But I mean, I don't think even Uesaka Sumire or like people of similar genius like that, or Koga Aoi, people like that. I don't think they got like that sort of rise. But anyways, that's a very high
I
bar.
don't think so. It's
Yeah, and
very
those
much
people are like once in a while geniuses too. So it wasn't as exciting this year, but I would have to give it to Amane Kanon for her role in Mempu and Sakugan. So she did, she debuted with this sort of main role, obvious quote unquote debut. It's a breakout role, right? She's obviously had like supporting roles or like other voice acting roles before. They all do, right? But yeah, as her breakout role as a main role in Sakugan, I think she did a very solid job. So props to her. So yeah, it goes to Amane Kanon and Sakugan doing the role of Memempu. Anybody else have newcomer awards? Dark, do you have one?
I do. So I gave mine to Aikawa Kanata.
Okay.
And so she was the main character of Wonder Egg Priority. And again, I think that is like first role is
Oh,
kind of
yes,
kind of
yes.
crazy, but also further extended to like the main cast being that like I think only one character's voice actress had like she had roles starting like 2018, but I think this was the most major or something or 2016.
Right, right.
But yeah, I thought that they really did a really good job in that show, especially considering like the quality of the voice acting in it. I think if there's anything to say about that show, it's that the voice acting was performance was very, very good.
Right, right. Okay, Toast, do you have an award for Best Newcomer Voice Actor / Actress?
I have 3.
Okay.
Damn, Dark, you out of me already?
Yeah, I'm surprised he couldn't fucking tell immediately.
No,
Yeah,
I don't want to laugh.
okay,
I want
try and
to.
cover your tracks. You didn't realize.
Wow.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
realized the moment he said
Backpedaling.
3.
Copium.
I realized the moment he said 3, but I don't want to laugh at Toast's choices. I want to take Toast's choices seriously. So that's why
Wait, Dark,
I'm
what was your
I mean,
choice
I'm not
again?
laughing at the choices. I'm
laughing at the inevitable. What do you?
well, yeah. I
Is that-
mean,
The
that
inevitable
it's
doom that is coming to us all.
anyways, Toast. Please
the
go on.
ironic
Oh.
legitimacy of the statement. Really,
Dark,
I
what
want
was your
to-
choice again?
was my choice.
Yeah, what was your choice again?
My choice was the main character of Wonder Egg,
Mhm.
Okay.
so Aikawa Kanata.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was mine was obviously Inaki Yano
Yeah.
and Saku Mizuno and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Oh,
I,
right.
I,
These.
I,
Yeah. Okay. No, I
I
understand.
narrowed mine down to 9 choices now instead of 3 because I already got outed, so I changed it.
You mean all the girls in Selection Project? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
all the girls
Okay.
selection project. Because remember when I did my my review on selection project, I talked about how it was an allegory towards Hayami Saori and
Okay.
someone else. I forgot
Uh-huh.
who.
All right.
How they're like, oh, these are the veteran voice actors, but you died in a car accident, so
Right.
now we're
right,
gonna
right,
replace you with these new ones. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm gonna give it to those girls. It was they did their job well, I guess. Why not?
Okay. Okay.
I like selection project. They did their roles well.
Oh, I understand. Yeah.
Shout outs to
Okay.
the 3 Hololive girls, by the way.
all right. All right. Pretty good. Pretty good. Near? Do you have one? Or
I do not, because I'm
okay,
fairly
that's
certain that pretty much everything I watched didn't
What about
really
Fire Rose?
Yeah. Again, a
didn't
lot
really
of this
have
is
like
you know
necessarily
COVID situations and so
newcomers.
on.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Honestly, the like if like this year or not this year, last year, 2021's winter season, COVID season was very weird. Again, we talked about this during both the previous show and throughout the review of podcast. But because of the COVID delays and the shutdowns and everything, all of the big series were kind of shifted to the winter season, and that's not usually what happens. A lot of newer, sort of more smaller stuff with newer newcomers, new blood, usually ends up happening in the winter season because they tend to experiment there as opposed to the later seasons. So if stuff doesn't come out in the winter season and all the big guys, all the big voice actors and studios and so on are kind of pushing people out of the way, or like elbowing people, and it's like, no, this is my role, screw you, kind of thing, right? You're not going to see much in terms of newcomers throughout the rest of the year either. So it was a little bit of pity, but yeah, I totally understand what Nier's getting at. But yeah, that was our best newcomer.
Wait, near.
yeah.
What about? Wait, I forgot the name.
Okay.
Didn't near? Oh yeah, I remember now. Didn't they change the VAs in some of the Evangelion movies, or am I making this up?
I don't believe so. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. Why?
Because I was gonna say, hey, you could have picked them.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I haven't watched that yet because I'm too scared. So.
Okay.
All right, moving on then. So we are now going into the thick of it. So we were starting off with the audio stuff of the audio visuals portion. best opening / ending. So we are going on with Dark. What do you have for us? So it's one thing. So when I say best opening / ED, OP / ED, you can pick one, a one OP or one ED or whatever. So yeah.
So I chose for best OP ED Osama ranking.
God damn it. Dark.
And I am cheating a little bit because I'm doing both. And I don't care that one came out like 2 days ago, okay? Too fucking bad. Basically the thinking was like, it's gonna be pretty hard. You know, it's gonna be hard to beat its second OP.
Mhm.
So, may as well get it in now so that like next year I'm not like, yeah, remember that OP from January, like 5th? Like a year ago. So yeah, I don't know. I think they killed it. I think the first OP is kind of carried a bit by the song. I think visually it's a little bit weaker. But overall I think it's still pretty good and definitely fitting. I think the second OP is just insane. I think its song is perfect. I think its pacing is great, and I think its visuals are amazing. So
Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. Toast.
I never watched the series though. Well, does that count?
Sure.
Yeah, no, it counts for sure.
I picked Crybaby for super obvious reasons because everyone's talking about it and everyone's covering it. So it's like, damn, I guess this wins.
For Tokyo Revengers, you mean?
Yeah, you mean I heard that song? It's pretty good. Also, I couldn't
Oh,
give it.
it's Higedan. Yeah, okay.
I couldn't give it to Gorenge because
No,
that
I
does
heard
not
this
count
one.
this
Yeah,
year.
I heard this one. Fuck. Yeah, it's
And
good.
it's like, god damn.
Yeah,
Whoa,
Higedan is solid. Yeah.
15 million views on Crunchyroll's YouTube. I'm like, okay. And how many covers have over 1 million views? They covered it? A lot? I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe one.
Higedan is.
All
There's
I
a
know is
reason why they're
Suisei's
one of
cover
them.
is like 3 million now. So I was like, whatever. But yeah.
There's a reason why Higedan is one of the major, bands.
Runner-up was Gorenge, but Gorenge doesn't count because the movie was 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And we can do ending, right? If you had one.
You can do honorable mention.
Okay.
yeah,
Honorable
yeah.
mention for the ending.
Hmm?
Honorable mention for the ending was the one sung by Negi Yu.
Which one was that?
That's the Jahi-sama ED, sung by Negi.
Oh, okay.
oh,
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yeah, sung by Subaru, Nene, and Aqua. That's their group name, Negi Yu.
Okay. All
But yeah,
right.
freaking Crybaby. Damn. Name me another one that can beat it out. Maybe what is it? The one by Yoasobi, I guess. What's it called again?
I
The opening
forget.
song? Kaibutsu? Yeah, maybe Kaibutsu, but it's like whatever floats your boat.
All right. Pretty good. Near.
So I also cheated a little bit, because the OP came out a few days ago, but it's kind of a phenomenal, absolutely gorgeous, just stunning fucking OP. And it's Osama Ranking's second OP. It's just like
Which one was that? OP2.
the OP2, like
Yes.
just came out.
Oh, okay.
And I think personally it really captures just like the. So for me,
Fuck. Okay. Yeah.
I've talked about this pretty much every time we do an award show, and this category
Yes.
comes up. Like for me, it's not just about the song in an OP, right? I
Mhm.
think the visuals are very important, and the
Okay.
way the visuals are presented very important because obviously, the OP is typically the OP. It's one of the first things you see in a series, and it should represent what that series is about, whether it be thematically, tonally, whatever. And I think Osama Ranking's second OP absolutely perfectly captures the whimsical nature and the serious nature both of the series. Not to mention the fact that it is absolutely fucking gorgeous. And the song is just super wonderful as well. It's
Right.
just absolutely one of the best OPs of the year. Honorable mention for me goes to Odd Taxi's opening. I think it's really good, really chill. It's got a really nice mood to it. It's quite good. But yeah, Osama Ranking's second OP is just like, I think there's really no compare, to be honest.
All right. I guess last up is me, and I'm going to give it to. Also, I mainly kind of just judge it mainly by the music, but Summer Ranking opening, "Boy" by King Yu, just just the obviously. I first of all, I'm these days. I don't know whether it's just because I'm becoming an old man or not, but I'm giving a lot more value to like a little bit more like novelty and so on. So, the standard 4/4, 120 or ish, like 120 to 144 BPM, 140 BPM, whatever it is. And the same, people kind of sing the same actiony opening thing for whatever isekai that they're watching isn't really, valuable to me. But really just the way that the vocals are sung, the falsetto, not falsetto, but the high register with the string. It's just I guess going into the falsetto with high voice, it's just it's amazing. It's gorgeous, and it gives it that very light tone that both obviously emphasizes what Osama Ranking is and kind of sets up the contrast with the more serious tones behind it. It's great. So it goes to that. Honorable mention to Vanitas Nakart opening, Sora no Utsuro, Sasunomali, making it similar reasons, very, unique and not a little bit of the jazz tone underneath it. Instrumentation is good. It's very good. It's just addicting in that sense. So yeah, that's my award for best OP/ED. Next
I'm
on
surprised no one mentioned. Man, I'm
mentioned what?
surprised no one mentioned JoJo's opening. Wow, why do you guys hate Jolene? What's up with that?
I mean, it's all right.
It is a good opening, but
yeah, it's a good
I just
opening.
don't think
It's
There's a
supposed to
difference
be.
between good and
it-
best, right? It's there's
Yeah,
like we're not saying that everything else sucks or
Are
whatever.
you
It's
saying
just,
it's worse than Stand Proud, parts 1 through 3 opening, or Breakdown, or what is it?
I like Breakdown.
Trader's
I like Breakdown
Requiem.
a lot. I
Yeah.
like Breakdown a lot.
Are you?
No,
Are
I
you
don't give a
saying
fuck about Part 5's OP.
you don't like Trader's Requiem? I like that.
Just whatever.
also
It has
Stand
good
Proud is pretty
memes.
solid. Stand Proud
Yeah, I
is
mean,
like
Stand Proud's kind of hard to
Stand
beat.
Proud is a classic. Stand Proud is a classic. But yeah,
What about End of the World? Or is that what it's called? Right.
I forget.
Season 2 opening of Part 3.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that one's also really, really good. But
I don't know, dude. Osama Ranking's fucking second OP is just too goddamn good.
It's really
Part
good.
one,
That's fair.
Part 1 was really
Yeah.
good, so it was just like, okay, well.
Yeah, again, this is just disclaimer when we're talking about like best, blah blah blah. Like pretty much all of us are just saying like, this is what we think is the best. We don't think the other ones suck necessarily. There are plenty of good, plenty of good characters, plenty of good, openings, EDs, whatever. It's just that this is what we think is the
Aspire.
best.
What
Yep.
is second place but first place loser? The first loser.
That's true. I apologize to all the first place losers out there.
So
Next
if you're the
on
second, if you're the second born, you're the first place loser.
That's such a sad.
What?
Anyways, moving on. Moving on. We are going on to best overall soundtrack. So Dark. What do you have for us?
Okay, so for this one, I chose Skate. I think Skate has some really solid tracks, and Specifically, the fucking song they had for the beach episode was
Yeah.
incredible and like perfect for the series and like a fucking skating series. So yeah, I don't know. There's not a ton to say other than I really like that show's OST. I think all the themes for the characters were really good, especially Adam's. And I think yeah, just that fucking that beach episode had just an amazing track in it that I was like, damn, really is a skateboarding show, isn't it?
Okay. Toast. What about you?
What's up? What do you want?
What's your
Uh,
best soundtrack?
Best overall
Soundtrack? I
soundtrack.
don't know. That's all blurred together. Sure, 86 had Hiroyuki Sawano, and so what? Name me the last good Hiroyuki Sawano art or work.
Well, a soundtrack can be good without being made by Hiroyuki Sawano, right?
Yeah, what was the
No,
last? What was the
no,
last
no,
good
no,
one?
Not possible. Sorry, I apologize.
What was the last one? Fate's Day Night? No,
For what, Sawano?
he did Fate, didn't he? No, he didn't. Yes, he did. I don't know. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I'm lying. What, 86? Oh, that's so cool. You know what else was? You know what had a better soundtrack than 86? Gundam Unicorn.
Gundam Unicorn had a good soundtrack.
Don't at me, bro, if you didn't like Gundam Unicorns. Like OST.
But
What am I talking about?
what is your
What?
best soundtrack for 2021?
Hathaway's 86 had it. Hathaway's Flash is pretty good. But I'm gonna give it to
Give it two.
yeah. I'll give it this. Guess what?
Yes.
I'll give it to Selection Project again. Hell yeah! Why? Because there was
Okay.
a song every episode.
Well, that's a very classic for an idol series.
That's
Quantity over quality.
That's
Okay.
pretty-
Just give me
that's
the
pretty much
idol
it.
insert songs right now in my mouth.
I mean, I can. Ambiance OST is good, but once you have a song every episode, it's like, damn, you're really going all in.
it's a mega sale, yeah. Anyways, yeah.
My other choice is what? Idly Project? Oh.
Idly
Idly Pride?
Yes, yeah.
Selection Pride? Idly. Oh, I don't know anymore.
Idly Project Selection
Jesus
Pride.
Christ,
Yeah,
blend it
you're
together.
getting them mixed up because they're essentially
Yeah,
the same
it's
series.
Selection Pride. I like their songs.
Okay.
There you go.
Near.
Yeah, so best soundtrack is kind of tricky this year for me because there weren't really to me many like OSTs that were like, yeah, like I gotta keep listening to this, you know. But
Usually it's like one or two good songs. It's like, damn, this is a good song. But the
yeah,
rest is kind of whatever.
and I usually personally don't really count like insert songs, you know what I mean, as like an OST. Um, but I kind of cheated a bit with this one, and I just gave it to Mashiro no Oto.
Okay, I understand.
Because
I like that one song in it.
A lot of the, it's a music series, right? About the shamisen, and there's a lot of shamisen music.
I want to say though, for stuff that's specifically something like Mashiro no Oto or Nodama Cantabile or stuff like Idol series like that, considering the insert songs a lot of time is reasonable. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I mean, what else are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, well, I justified this one because there are a couple original scores, and there are re-recordings of previous arrangements, stuff like that. So, to me, it's original enough, right? Obviously, the shamisen series, it's gonna have to use older tracks, right? It's like a fucking piano series, they're not gonna make up their own pieces for the entirety of the show, right?
Like
They're
classical
gonna
music or
use
whatever.
they're gonna use classical music.
Yeah. for like Tactopus too as
Yeah,
well. You know,
and
so.
obviously it's fair to, I'd say it's fair to judge, a piano series, similar manner to where obviously the music's good, right? And personally, I fucking love this shamisen. It is it is a fucking magical instrument.
Mhm.
So, like
What about
It's very good.
I had to
with
give
the
it to this series.
automaton?
No, not quite as magical.
Okay, no, I understand. That's pretty good. All right. My overall soundtrack. It may sound like a little bit of cop out, but it does go to Megalobox 2 Nomad. So I've always jived pretty hard, even with the first Megalobox soundtrack, and I think this one really just knocks it out of the park, both in terms of like integrating with tone, and just really in terms of, I think the balance between actually having a proper like melody or proper like looping theme refrain um in each of the tracks versus just bass boosting kind of almost dubstep slash DMB levels of like all we have are just beat tracks, aim and beats throughout the track. It doesn't go that as far, so it has good balance of that, and still keeps it very like rumbly, still very gritty and strong. So I do want to give it to Megaloblocks 2. Honorable mentions do go to these are a little bit obviously more my biases, but Love Live Superstar. I think it's hard to be like, oh yeah, well
Are you
these
saying
idols.
how many songs do they have?
I don't know how many songs exactly they had, but Love Live, the cheesiness of like Love Live songs has always been one of my like.
What's your favorite Love Live song?
There's a lot. Fuck.
Why is it not Snow Halation, you liar?
Snow Halation is like good, but it's like I don't know whether I would say
Specifically,
it's
the snow halation, like fucking Flintstones mashup.
like so
You
um,
know the one.
Yeah.
no,
And
I
if you
do.
don't, just look up snow halation, and you'll probably stumble across that instead.
I there's like a couple of stuff, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. But Love Live Superstar, and then I do like the sort of tonal stuff that not like tonal as a like musical tone, but it's like the atmospheric stuff that Aquatope and White Sand did. But Aquatope and White Sand is a little bit more iffy because it's like it's a little bit more of a balance between what they don't have sounds for and when they do actually start inserting the OST in, and it's like a PA work kind of thing. So it only really got an honorable mention there. So that's my pick for best overall soundtrack. Again, Megalobox 2, Nomad. Now, going into the visual part of the audiovisual section, best overall visuals. Dark, what do you have for us?
Wow, surprise, surprise! Osama ranking. um, there were a lot of really good-looking shows this year.
Yeah.
Skate, I would say Kobayashi Dragon Maid Season 2 was also very, very good. But realistically, it's like Osama ranking. When we first saw the trailer for it, I was like, "Damn, that show looks really fucking good. It's a really standout style."
It does.
And then, sure enough, the show itself looks really good, and it's also a very standout style. So, like you wouldn't expect from that show in that style, especially to be like, yeah, it looks great. Also, it has a really good, like, it has some really awesome fights. I don't know. I feel like that alone is kind of awesome. And I just think in general, it's like just the best combination. Now, it didn't sacrifice any sort of quality for style,
Mhm.
anything like that.
And it still had a pretty decently like unique style amongst the other series in this season.
Yeah. So it is very standout and also very well done.
Mhm.
Very, very good.
Okay. Toast. What about you? Best overall visuals, please.
Does Demon Slayer season 2 count?
No,
Isn't it? It's literally just the movie chopped up, right?
Yeah,
and the
it
movie
does not-
visuals
it
are
doesn't.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's not-
technically,
there's one
Demon Slayer
episode.
season
Yeah,
2
there's
is
one
out.
episode. Okay,
That counts for for Demon Slayer season 2.
but no, it doesn't fucking count.
And you know what? I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I'm gonna give it to. I'm gonna give it to. What's the Japanese name? I don't know.
What?
I mean, it doesn't matter. You can say the localized name.
You know what? No, I'm gonna put that in a personal award. I'm gonna give it to Mushoku Tensei. Hell yeah!
Okay.
Right.
Hell
Okay.
yeah! Pretty cool.
Okay. Pretty good. What about you, Nier?
Who wouldn't say it looks good? If I can't have Gurenge, I mean Kimetsu no Yaiba season 2, Ghost Train,
Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Ghost Train season 2. I don't know what it's. I don't know. What is it? Phantom
Mugen
Train?
Train.
Mugen Train? I don't know
Mugen Train,
anymore.
yes.
Then I'm gonna give it to yeah.
Okay.
Shit, what did I say? Mushoku Tensei. Yeah.
All right.
Ever since we saw the first PV, I was like, damn, this looks good. Guess what? It didn't disappoint. Still
Okay.
looks good. Yeah.
Good. Nier, what about you?
Yeah. So, pretty much every year, I say that like this is for me, basic. It's pretty much, it's up there with the best anime, right? In terms of importance.
Yeah.
Best
Sure.
visuals. Like, I like good animation. Hot
It's
take.
anime at the end of the day.
Yeah, hot take. To me, good animation is like, it's one of the core pillars of a good anime, right? Um, Anime is a visual medium, and so it should look nice. I don't think I'm asking for a lot, but there was a lot of really good looking series this year.
Surprising.
Yeah, there was One Direct Priority, which had near movie level production at some points.
Right.
There was Skate the Infinity, which is a Bones production. It looked really fucking nice.
Uh-huh.
There was, of course, Osama Ranking, which is just absolutely gorgeous. But at the end of the day, I did decide to give it to Mushoku Tensei.
Mhm.
Because Mushoku Tensei just has this. It's got this style to it, where it's sort of what you'd expect to see from a typical anime, but it's got this layer of polish on it that sort of puts it above, I think, a lot of other stuff, and helps the fact that Mushoku Tensei has quite a bit of action scenes in it, and a lot of those action scenes are you know full of magic and a lot of effects, stuff like that, and a lot of them are hand drawn. They're not like just digital effects, and
Right.
they're very good. They're very 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 good looking.
Mhm.
The series just consistently looks really good. Like Toast said, ever since we saw that first PV, um, I was like floored. So like I was like, wow, like, and it's a new studio as well. Like it's a newly formed studio, like, just for this series. Obviously there's a lot of talent behind it, but like it's just like stunning that uh the show like looks that good, right? Um, obviously honorable mentions to Osama Ranking, and that show's absolutely gorgeous. It's got some absolutely amazingly talented animators working on it. Some amazing character acting in that, as well as some amazing action sequences.
Which studio? I
And
mean,
yeah,
it's
just stunning stuff. And to top it off, like, or no, Mappa's doing Attack on Titan now, right? So, but
Wait. Mushoku Tensei came from. So the studio that was made for Mushoku Tensei actually came from White Fox, and
Yeah.
White Fox is known for doing pretty much isekai stuff like all the time now. So
Yeah.
okay.
But
This makes a lot
they're
more
not really
sense. Yeah.
known for like insane animation.
Yeah,
Let's be
for
honest,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ochusa?
Yeah,
Excuse me.
for
The
sure,
action
for sure.
scenes in the fight scenes at Kochi did you not? Yeah.
But yeah, my other honorable mention has to go to Sunny Boy, just because like the character acting in that series is just it's absolutely filled with subtle facial movements, subtle body language. It's just like it's crazy that like people storyboarded this out like and it just flows so naturally, right? And it's all like Sunny Boy has like very few digital effects, right? There's some stuff for like backgrounds when like some weird crazy like other dimensional stuff is happening. But like all of like the characters and for the most part pretty much all of the backgrounds are hand drawn. Um and it's a very subtle uh series. It's not full of action or anything. Um but like it's consistent and it's really good. But yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm going last here, and my award for best overall visuals actually went to a very sort of surprising series. So I guess one that wasn't on the radar, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but at least for this section, it's Vivi, Fluoride Eyes Song. So
You
this
actually
one,
watched that series?
guys, because I'm the one that took the bullets in this
Yeah.
in the season, like half the time. So I did watch Vivi Fluoride Eyes Song, and
You like the eyes? I like the eyes.
it was very interesting because it's like I kept expecting like the blending and like the mix. I need to word it correctly, but the mix of like the proper blending and like the actual like animation going on was very surprising. Where it's like I always expected somewhere throughout the episode, or like, oh, maybe in this next episode or in this other episode, it'll just go down to 15 frames, 30 frames, the standard thing, right?
Yeah.
Or like this action scene will suck, or like completely, and something will break down. But it just managed to do it pretty consistently, and I was very surprised at how it went. The action scenes were pretty good. It was fluid, consistently fluid. The blending was good. The animation was good. Um, and I think I don't think almost any series can really say that they managed to keep all of that locked down in line. Like very few series can manage to say that they kept all that locked down in line throughout the entire season or throughout the entire series, like all 12 or 24 episodes or whatever it is, while having like a large number of action/fight scenes, which again Vivi Florida Song did. So I would have to give my best overall visuals to Vivi Florida Song, especially in this sort of context where, obviously there was a lot of money and uh, and there are a lot of good series this season in terms of visuals, but still it was in like a COVID environment, and it was still surprising to see that level of quality.
Yeah.
But
I didn't watch Vivi myself, but I did watch a lot of the cuts of it.
right.
It is a very good show.
Yeah. It was like, and again, it's like you kind of imagine like, okay, next episode or like next fight scene, some fucked
Yeah.
up stuff is gonna go on, but it's like it stayed consistent. The quality was consistent. It was good.
Oh shit!
So
That
yeah,
reminds me.
Toast.
Nothing. I'm just
Okay.
adding more to my personal awards.
Okay. An honorable mention goes to Pretty Boy Detective. Very like
Damn,
it was
you
a
like those
very like
pretty boys?
classic. Yeah, pretty. I love the Pretty Boys here. So go. It was a very like classic. I want to say 2010s Shaft
It's pure
throw.
Shaft. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very like. Yeah. All right, Shaft. Okay.
It's
All right.
like
All right.
They still got it.
yeah, it's very much like
It's not even they still got it. It's like Yeah, I know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty
It's
Boy
like
Detective Club visually was very much a sort of like, hey, you remember when we did this? Yeah. You like this, right? And everyone's like, yeah, we like that.
it's like this. It's like you go to Disneyland at night, as like in your 30s or something like that, right? And it's like everything's super cheesy, but like the entire atmosphere and like everything, you're like you can't help but get swept onto it. It's like similar. It's
Yeah.
it's very similar.
Why do you have to point out 30, Spire? Are you is that like the midlife crisis? Why are you pointing out Germa's age? Is it because he streamed Thrill? What is it? Thrill Town, or what is it called?
I
Thrillville.
apologize. Yeah.
Thrillville.
But
Don't. I
yeah.
would have said like 40 or 50, like when you're slightly aged, but
Well, I don't know
30.
if
Damn,
the idea where you're like
damn,
it's
calling
pretty
out
obvious.
Germa.
The
I mean,
difference.
Spire's basically saying like it's very much a thing of like you've seen it all before, but like it's so effective that like
Yeah, and you're
you
like
still
you're
get
not really putting that much value into it anymore, but they execute it so
Yeah.
like boom, 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 boom. Like they are well-oiled machine at this
Yeah.
point.
Are you saying you can't get excited when you're 30? Damn.
only by
Maybe
Pretty
not by the same
Boys.
take. Okay, yeah. But yeah, honorable mention to Pretty Boy Detective Club. Osama ranking, obviously, Sunny Boy. So those are my 3 honorable mentions there.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. And moving on here, this is where the fun part begins.
Yeah.
This is where the
Really?
fun begins. All right, best studio. Always
I'll go
pretty.
first.
All right, Tess, you want to go first? Go.
What?
You said you
Go
wanted to go
ahead,
first.
bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
best studio.
I'll take top bet. My best studio is Doga Kobo. Hell yeah.
Okay.
You,
Do you want
you know
to?
you know what series was pretty good that I like this season? I don't know. What did they do?
They they did Osamake, Selection Project, and My Senpai is Annoying, or
Senpai, yeah,
Senpai
they
Go
did.
Usai,
They did Senpai, Uzai, Osama. Oh, that's it. That's just it this year.
and Selection Project, yes.
Yeah. And you know
Yes.
what? All 3 of those, pretty good.
Pretty solid, yes. Okay,
And
okay.
that's about it. I can't give it to UFO Table because Mahotsukai no Yoru isn't out yet. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I can't give it to I can't give it to Sunrise.
Sunrise had a solid year, though, still. For sure.
Because Hathaway looked good, but it was only Hathaway.
They also did, I can't I remember. It was, let me see here. They had, Anime, they helped with Love Life. No, they did Love Life Superstar. They did Scarlet Nexus, Yashahime, stuff like that.
Scarlet
So
Nexus.
Yeah, okay, that's like negative 5 million.
yeah, I
on Scarlet
apologize.
Yeah. Scarlet
so-
Nexus was not hot. So
Yeah.
Yashahime, that's par for the course, isn't it? It's like you see this old ancient anime, and it's like Sunrise. You're like,
Ancient
oh,
anime.
God.
I guess it's an ancient franchise, yeah. Anyways,
I mean,
Dark.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, wait, Toast. Did you want to?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just saying
Dark.
that I like the Jollibee scenes in Hathaway, so
All right.
shout out to Sunrise for that.
Okay. Dark.
This is best studio, yeah.
Best studio. Yes.
I was so kind of torn on this once I started like looking at it and like talking to Nier.
Okay.
Like, it's just like this
You're
is
not.
a weird year. There was
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I think it's okay for not every award to have a clear cut. I mean, that's we can't have everything. If everything was like super one sided, it would actually not be that exciting.
yeah.
Fair.
yeah. So, I don't know, cause I guess I'll give it to I'll give it to Bones on
Okay.
the sort of premise that like they put out 3 very good looking series. So
Yeah. They kept on
that
keeping
being
on.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say other than like coin tosses like that or like wit because like Osama ranking. Actually, you know what? No, I take it back. I'm not giving it to Bones. I'm giving it to OLM.
Okay.
You're going that far, huh?
Yeah, while I while I have my reservations about Comey, I think that they did an incredible job with it. Like, and I think they really stepped up. Like,
I mean, considering
I-
what they made before they stepped into like the odd taxi territory.
yeah, like
Like they were making like Beyblade. Like so
Don't you mean Ninjala?
yeah.
To be fair,
seen
a
a jaw
lot
here.
a lot of studios kind of cut their teeth on being one of like the 50 subcontractors for like,
Yeah, of course.
Vanguard or Buddy Fight or
to be
Zoids or
fair,
whatever I watch or whatever.
Beyblade looked kind of good this year.
You know what I mean? You know what I
I'm saying,
mean?
like, I don't want to.
Just saying.
I don't want
Yokai
Are
Watch.
you guys-
Yokai Watch
Beyblade.
season
You saying you
50.
don't watch the every single series of Beyblade? What?
You know,
What,
you're saying that you don't stand
300
aside.
seasons that come out a year.
You know, it's actually really surprising because it's like, there are people that are our age or like 5 years older, or even like three to 5 years older. They're like, "Yo, I totally went to watch the screening of Yokai Watch, like last time the Yokai Watch movie." I'm just like,
Are you being
really?
judgmental, Spire?
Holy shit! You first Disney World and now Yokai Watch. Damn.
I apologize.
Yokai
I'm
Watch,
sorry, guys. I didn't mean that.
Spire
I didn't mean to be
Spire
ageist.
hates childish wonderment.
I hate old people. Sorry. That's
Yeah, OLM has. I'm looking at OLM has done children's shows, and then there's Odd Taxi, and then Call Me Son,
Yeah.
yeah.
and
And
it's like,
they're trying to
and then
step into everyone, I think.
and then they're doing the Visho, is it Fantasy Vishojo old man with a cute girl, whatever that
They
one's
did
called
Adam
again.
wait, no, they helped with that in the beginning, right? Okay,
So.
they helped with it.
They've helped
Yeah,
with
a lot of the
stuff.
stuff before is just like doing help or like in
Yeah.
between or so on.
Or
Yeah,
kids shows
Yeah.
or whatever.
yeah. Okay.
But yeah, they've really stepped up.
Yeah.
I have my reservations about Odd Taxi, but
Uh-huh.
it's hard to argue that going from like making fucking Beyblade and Yu-Gi-Oh series to
Hey man, I like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Zoid's Wild Zero.
yeah, to putting out Odd Taxi, it's a step up, right?
Yeah,
At the very least visually.
Yeah.
Excuse you, Nier. Brains was a very mature season.
Or-
I think you're thinking of Card Fight Vanguard.
I watched 3 episodes of Reigns. you lie.
Wait, they did the 1997 Berserk actually. So they actually started out like doing random stuff and then they went back into like kids shows
Well,
went in the 2000s.
to be fair, the 97 Berserk series is like 80% like paintings. It's like
Yeah,
still it's like
exactly.
still frames with audio.
I've seen some of that.
So,
Yeah. Nier, what about you?
So this one was also quite tricky. Because again, I feel like there hasn't been a studio this year that's kind of been like head and shoulders above others.
I think it's also when we come to best year, and I'll talk about this when it gets to my turn as well. But it's like you have to choose a lot of the times between quality and quantity, right? Some studios kind of just taking whatever, like JC Staff and A1 are kind of infamous for doing this, right? They just kind of taking whatever and then they just churn out what they usually do by the A1 standard or by the JC Staff standard. Some other studios are very different. Mappa, Madhouse, Bones, David Productions, what was it, Gonzo, right? Stuff like that. They tend to churn out much fewer series, but they usually tend to be like much more like unique ones or done a little bit more with care, or they tend to end up on the automata block, so on. Right?
Yeah.
So,
but
dull.
at the end of the day, I ended up giving mine to Science Saru.
Oh yeah, okay.
In combination because of calling back to the Star Wars Visions podcast we did, I really feel like Science Saru, like their contributions to the Star Wars Visions project, like really stole the show. And as for like full on anime production, they of course did Heike Monogatari. And for me, the biggest reason was Science Saru is I guess the new home for Naoko Yamada,
Oh, okay.
which is, of course, the director for K-On,
Mhm.
Violet Evergarden, Liz the Bluebird, a lot of very
Yeah.
very famous Kiwani stuff. And
Yeah, just a quick note, like for a lot of the viewers out there, the reason why people kind of I mean, first of all, directors aren't necessarily like tied to a studio. They oftentimes like kind of work with different studios or whatever. That does happen. And the second thing is, especially for a lot of the staff that were with Kyoani, like way back when up until now, after the arson, a lot of times they kind of expressed trauma over working in the Kyoani spaces, and they
Yeah.
decided to move elsewhere. So that's why you're
and
in different places.
yeah, and Heike Monogatari is the first time that she has worked on a project since the Kyoani arson, and
Uh-huh.
to me it was just very nice to see. It was very reassuring to see that she was
Right.
continuing her work, and I was very appreciative of Science Starter to give her that opportunity, basically.
Right.
So,
Right.
for me, Science Starter gets Best Studio of the Year.
Did she work on the Star Wars Vision stuff or no?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Nier, very much. And I guess for me, I'm going to give it to Madhouse. So again, I think longtime viewers of the show, maybe with better memory, will note that when I'm picking stuff like best studios and so on, I'll usually tend to pick quality over quantity. So I usually tend up giving it to like Bones or like David Productions and stuff like that, Studio Gokumi, so on, over studios that kind of just churn out stuff like A1 Pictures or JC Staff. But I did give it to Madhouse. They kind of only did 3 series this season. They did Sunny Boy, they did Vampire Dies in No Time, and Tact Opus Destiny. And so they're not like all super wow, knock them out of the park. But I would say if you kind of average them out, they are kind of a higher standard on average than most of the other stuff that was kind of churned out throughout the season by a lot of other studios. And so I would give my award to, again, Madhouse for kind of keeping the quality up and not kind of just falling down to whatever random power fantasy kind of comes scuttling their way, right? So
Yeah.
good stuff. That's Madhouse. Okay. Next on the this is an even better category.
Yeah.
Worst studio. All right, so worst studio. Dark, do you want to start us off?
Okay. Yeah. So for this one, I mean, fuck, I don't remember who I was gonna choose for the other worst studio, just because like this is such an easy, low hanging fucking fruit.
Do it.
It's like, well,
Do it.
yeah, no shit.
Do it.
Um,
Do it.
Near, do you remember what I said? Do you remember? For like my secondary choice, because I know I had reasoning for it.
The High Guardian
Valid.
Spice studio.
Yeah. Whatever studio did High Guardian Spice, I'll do. Just because it was like really just like fucking blatant inconsistencies and shit, just wild stuff. Because my other choice was, the fucking Visual Flight, the studio that did Lexar, and it's like, yeah, no shit.
I don't know. I think they did a good job.
Is it literally just
like fucking
is it
surprise. So
literally just called Crunchyroll Studios? Because that's what I Wikipedia'd.
For
it
High
might
Guardian
be.
Spice, it might just be something.
Elation, formerly named Elation.
Oh.
Oh, okay, so now they're just Crunchyroll Studios. Glad, I'm sure they're ecstatic they absorbed that entirely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you don't really need to say too much about Visual Flight, but yeah, glad you pointed those 2 studios out. Toast, what about
Huh?
you? Worst
Well,
studio, please.
worst studio, UFO Table. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I was gonna say Dave's Reductions because how dare you give us 12 episodes of JoJo and nothing else?
Well,
But
that's
it's like,
Netflix, so
Well, it's
Yeah.
It
that's
is
on
Netflix,
that's
yeah.
on Netflix.
that's
not
Netflix.
David,
If they had not given us 12, we would have only gotten 12 by
like
now.
6.
So
Yeah, we're gonna like 6 or 8, but whatever. I'll give it to UFO Table. You know why? Where's Mahotsuka no Yoru? Where? Where is it? That's it.
All right. Near.
Well, I thought mine was a hot take, but I'm also giving it Ufotable. Largely
Okay.
because Ufotable is riding off the high of Mugen Train, right? And
To be fair, like
It is. It is.
I mean,
any studio would at this point, like,
well, I
near,
mean,
near. Don't you get it? Near, don't you get it? Mugen Train.
you would think.
yeah, I get it.
Unlimited.
I get it. I get it.
Unlimited
But-
Blade Works. Fate.
but,
Oh,
like-
I see it.
So you just release a movie, right? And
Mm.
it is like the most profitable like thing that any
in
like
existence.
any like collaboration
Anime related,
like
yeah.
any collaboration of human beings have ever put out, right? And
yes.
like you're riding off the high of that, and what do you do? Like you're in the boardroom and you're like, okay, like how do we capitalize off this, right? And somebody says, I know. How about we don't release fucking anything for an entire
We
year,
pretend to release
and
stuff.
then we just
not actually.
chop up the movie we just
Yeah,
released
exactly.
into 12 episodes, and then release that over the course of like 6 months.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you know what
Classic.
That
else?
is a brilliant idea.
It's
You
like
know what else did that?
I almost want to say don't hate the player, hate the game kind of stuff, but because it's like
But then you realize, wait a minute, I do hate the player.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
wait a
no,
minute.
I know.
I also
I'm
hate the
not
player.
I'm not saying that you should hate the player, but it's also just like you should also blame like the Demon Slayer fans who are willing to pick this shit up. You know what I mean? At this point where you're like, are you guys really gonna give them this much money? And all the Demon Slayer fans are like, yes, we're gonna
Yeah.
give them all the money. It's like
It's
fuck
just
you guys.
like it's so I don't know. It's so scummy, you know.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
It's just kind of gross. And, it doesn't help that I understand that like, the Ufotable CEO got charged with like tax evasion and shit. Like he's not part of the company anymore. But like that stuff's still going on, right? Like that stuff's still making headlines. And this studio should probably try to maintain sort of image and not just be like sitting on their ass for an
We
entire
want all-
fucking year.
It's like we got all the money, fuck you guys, kind of thing going on. It's
Yeah,
clearly
it's like I get it, I understand why they've done it, but it's like you guys have like so much money. You could be putting out so much shit. It's just like it fucking sucks ass.
honestly, it kind of does upset me in that like they're the main ones getting all this attention, and it's like they have all this money, and it's just like I don't know. I feel like they could be doing a little bit more in terms of content. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah, like just
I understand
know.
that they have to quote unquote wait for quality, but it's just like
I mean,
you got
they can just literally line up projects right now, and
Yeah,
everyone would
exactly.
be like, okay, yeah, sure. Like they essentially they would like they would
They
make
could pay
even
like
more money
two,
by just
three
being
other
like
studios. Yeah,
they could just be they could just expand and be like, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna open up new studios and we're gonna expand and we're gonna take on a bunch more projects
Yeah.
and like we're gonna get even bigger and we're gonna be putting out more.
And
Like,
we're not gonna get
you know,
wrapped up in embezzlement
whether they
schemes.
be like contracts for video games, they consistently do like the tales of openings for stuff.
Yeah,
They work with Bandai Namco a lot.
Yeah.
They could just be doing so much more, but instead they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna chop up this movie that we just released and we're just gonna shit that out on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Like, guys, come on, like, do something,
Veneer.
do literally anything else. Sucks.
Veneer. Are you saying that what they did for Gundam, what Sunrise did for Gundam Unicorn, wasn't as egregious as well? Where they chopped up what all was it 8, 7 episodes of Unicorn and released it as 22 episodes?
Yes. It's gross. It's
It's
gross.
sad,
It's gross every time. Like they, it's like when fucking Gunbuster, like spliced together all of the OVAs, and we're like, yeah, it's a movie now, guys. It's like no,
also
it's the same thing. Like
whenever a movie releases of an anime series and it's just like the truncated recap version, it's like
yeah,
don't do
it's like come on, guys.
that. But
But
yeah, it's pretty obnoxious. I understand. Yeah, my worst studio goes to surprise Visual Flight, the producer of X
I
Arm.
think you guys are haters, to be honest.
I apologize.
They did
Honorable
their
mention.
best.
Yeah, they really
They
gambare
tried.
yeah, gambare there. And honorable mention to TNK, who are the studios behind redo of Healer. And I don't mean that as in like, wow, I'm surprised it came out bad or whatever it is. It's the fact that they even accepted the project in the first place that I'm giving them this honorable mention.
But it's a popular series, dude.
Oh, that's true. It's about having those real heroes instead
Yeah,
of those
and
beta
owning the
males.
libs.
Yeah. Anyways, going next
Didn't they
on.
also wasn't what is it? What's that one series? They got released and then re-released again. Done was it
Talking about interspecies review
Nichijou?
or what are you? Nichijou?
Didn't they release that Nichijou twice?
No.
Yes.
What
What
do
do
you
you
mean?
mean?
Like they showed Nichijou and they're like, we're just gonna
They
promote
re-aired
Nichijou
it,
again.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
like
there.
How dare you do that?
that's more of like a that's more like the broadcaster side. Right.
Yeah, that's just re-airing it because because it's popular, or like the broadcaster is just like, yeah, we don't have anything else, or quote unquote, we don't have anything else.
Yeah.
It's like how what is it? Urusei Yatsura, right? Recently got
leave.
Urusei Yatsura got
We just call it Lum over here, Spire.
uh
No, we don't.
got
we
the
do.
block on the Noitamina block recently, and people were complaining about it because they were just like, all right, are there literally no other new series that you could have aired on the Noitamina block or something like that? But yeah, anyways.
But I like Lum Urusei Yatsura. Leave it alone. Leave Rumiko Takahashi alone.
Anyways, moving on here. Most overrated series. This is the meat and bones of the award show here. This is the shit we really get into. Dark, most overrated series, please.
Guardian Spice.
No.
Fuck, mine's gonna be a real one. So my sort of thinking on these is I always try to be, it's never like, obviously, like, this isn't a stand-in for worst series. It never should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
It's also not a stand-in for a series I usually think is like bad in a lot of ways. It's usually just like,
it's a difference. It's a delta between the audience's like perceptions, like the social, like the community's perceptions, and like what you think the series is.
yeah, like this shit was pitched, this shit was pitched to me as a 10, and it's like,
Yeah,
it's okay, it's
yeah,
good.
exactly.
It
Yeah.
could be good, it's fine. So I went with Komi-san. Like,
Uh-huh.
this was pitched to me as like fucking insane and incredible, and then I'm like, it's all right, but it's not like wild, it's not anything that crazy. In fact, I would say in a lot of ways, kind of boring.
You're right.
In a lot of a lot of scenarios that they present. So just for that reason.
Okay.
At this point too, I think it has like kind of died down the hype
Yeah,
around it. So
I
I think
think it's
people have
also
cooled
like
on it.
the type of hype that people are getting from it. It's not the same type as like when people are talking about, wow, this is the deepest series, complex series ever. A lot of people are just kind of like, they really kind of got hype for the cheesy kind of moments, kind of like Kaguya-sama, excuse me, Kaguya-sama, right? So
Okay, first of all, don't you ever dare fucking let those words leave your fucking lips in the
I
same sentence.
apologize.
Kaguya-sama actually has different scenarios that get fucking tread. Okay, buddy, buddy boy. Yeah, I don't know. For Komi-san, I didn't really like. I mean, I wish it had tread the same ground as Kaguya-sama in that sense. I do not like. Personally, I think the sort of setup of like here are these wacky characters that kind of spin their wheels in the same sort of way, because like not even like trope, it's like very specific, you know, like here's the sadist and that's all they do, and like here's
Right.
the fucking
Yeah,
like
you
or
did
the
talk about that
masochist, and like
before.
here's all they do. So like that's kind of what really gets me on it. Like I said, I think the childhood friend is kind of like the most compelling character in the show.
Hmm.
Sort of like extended cast for me is kind of like what damn me, like that never coming up from people was also
Yeah, that is understandable. Okay, okay. Toast. What about you?
When I think of overrated series, I usually think of a series that's like, damn, this is gonna be good. But then when I watch it, I'm like, damn, this sucks. Too bad for you guys. I'm usually right on the money. If I know if I watch the series or not, and it sucks or not, which is like 90% of all isekai this season.
Well, I think overratedness is a little bit different because it's like I think it's a little bit more people are telling you it's like super good and you're like, okay. And then you check it out and you're like, it's not that good, is sort of how I would
Guess what?
phrase overrated.
I was right on everything, so I had to rack my brain hard and look for one.
Okay.
You know what? You know what I came up with?
But
Nagatoro.
that's very simple. Okay.
Even though I knew the series sucked from the beginning. Was this just season one? What? Really?
Yeah.
People were like, oh, Nagatoro is so cool. I know a girl just like her. Maybe she was just
What?
shy. And I
What?
was
Who
like, what
says
the
that?
hell's wrong with you?
Bring me the person who says I know a person
You
just like that.
you
What?
you
Bro,
don't
it's like
want to.
that guy who fucking like posted on his Instagram like, I met this girl, she's just like Asuka.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to dive in this Mariana Transpire. And I'm like, it's not that great. I mean, like, putting aside what the author's other works are, we will not bring those up, even though I just did. It's like some of the stuff that she does is pretty borderline abusive. At least with
It's not really borderline. It is abusive. She is abusive. She's emotionally and physically abusive to the main character, and everyone's like, "Oh, man,
But she's
she's so cute, bro." It's like, dude, if you knew somebody in like that in real life, you would want to like just drop them immediately. Like,
cute.
yeah, I mean, if you really like that, it's like, why don't you just watch Takagi-san? That's a better show about teasing, not like not like I'm gonna hit you in the face kind of thing. It's like
Hmm.
you
No,
know
look,
the,
I
bro,
the
I'm gonna kick you in the back of the knees when you're not expecting it. Ha, cute, right?
understand.
No.
I mean, and if you
Anything a
compare it to
girl does is
these,
cute in here. That's
if
how
you
it works.
compare it to the old, let's say old in manga, where the main character does something like someone's like, oh, I'm sorry, and then the main character goes, oh, you pervert. She punches him and he goes flying in the air. It's like, okay, that's abusive, but it's done in a comically sort of way. So it's like, haha, you can just laugh it off. Some of the stuff she does, though, it's pretty, it's too realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa, that's not funny.
Hmm.
That could actually happen in real life. So when I hear that, I'm like, show sucks. How,
Okay.
also, how, you know who you are. How dare you have a wallpaper of Nagatoro? Be like, oh, I don't really like Nagatoro. then it's like, but then you're portrayed as the bottom in your V. I mean, not V. V. Fine, I'll say it. VTuber group. It's like, oh, I don't like Nagatoro, but you have the wallpaper, and it's like, is your entire character just being a bottom? I'm not gonna say your name, but you know who you are.
All right. Well, again, your choice does make sense here. Okay. So, Toast, thank you for your most overrated series. Nier, what about you?
So I've been preaching the Comey is overrated gospel for a few years now, I think. But I didn't watch Comey, so I think that's unfair. However, I did watch and cover Odd Taxi.
Wasn't that your letdown of that season 2?
Stay your tongue.
Yeah. Odd Taxi, which is a show that has been very widely praised for like realistic character interactions, its tone or whatever. But when I watched it, I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes. I don't remember. And I was bored out of my fucking mind. And I like slow paced series. I like very, very slow paced. However, Odd Taxi has really nothing going on. And the few things that are going on are entirely disconnected from like what the characters are talking about. And yet this series has almost a 9 on Mal. I've really never seen many people talk bad about this series, and it makes me wonder whether I'm fucking insane or whether just the first 3 episodes are really fucking bad. But either way, I'm going to judge it based on the first 3 episodes because those are the episodes I watched, and those are the episodes that absolutely failed to bring me in as a viewer. In my opinion, the show's boring. It's not good. Really, nothing that happens on screen progresses anything. Yes, the character dialogue is very natural. It's very real feeling. But is it also entirely inconsequential? Right? Like I don't want to watch a 10-minute conversation between a middle-aged walrus and a middle-aged monkey complain about them not having a girlfriend when apparently this is a mystery series about some missing girl. It's like, well, what does this scene have to do with anything? Oh, nothing. It's like, well, it's like a real conversation, bro. It's like, yeah, I don't care though. Like, I don't care about the subject of the conversation, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand why so many people are talking up this show so hard. Like, it's just like fucking boring. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking stupid. I don't know. But I'm going to say I'm not. This show sucks.
Okay. Yeah, I think at most you can say like Odd Taxi provides some kind of interesting kind of like film noir style like mystery stuff here and there. But I've never
The
like
problem
watching it.
is
I've never thought like it was super deep or whatever it was. It
the
was,
problem is the mystery stuff is super ham-fisted and entirely
it is.
disconnected from everything else that the characters are doing.
Hmm.
And it's not cohesive at all. So
Yeah. Yeah, the dialogue, especially says in chat, the dialogue hooked them in a way that made them think that it was unique and not just stock. Yeah, it's like if you're not used to kind of the kind of vague and flowery ways that like these sorts of series end up playing out in terms of dialogue, in terms of interactions, then you're like, wow, this is so fucking deep. It's just like me. But yeah,
yeah.
thinking year. My series it goes to 86, and you guys remember this is one of a few rants that I went on throughout the year
Wow,
about.
sir. I can't believe you hate Hiroyuki Sawano.
Yeah, I just hate all audiovisuals, people. But yeah, 86 was one of the few rants I went on throughout the year. I believe it was one of the first rants where Japanese animators slash writers made a series with one of the main themes, or at least one of the main sort of subplots, being about kind of racism, classism, discrimination, right? And I kept repeating that these writers didn't really have a good idea, really at all, of how discrimination looks like, racism, classism, so on looks like in real life. And all they really know about these interactions are just, oh, wow, you think you're better than me? You're not. You're just as stupid as, or you're just as much of an asshole as these other guys. And it's like, or the non-discriminated race makes friends with the discriminated race, and then they're like, oh, I don't trust you, but we'll see things through. Or, all this very cheesy stuff that you would maybe find in a children's book. And I think honestly, Western children's book are still
More
better at
nuanced.
depicting
Yeah.
race discrimination than a lot of these Japanese anime. And yet so many of these, stupid fucking anime fans go through 86 and they're like, wow, oh my God, this is so emotional and so good, talking about, how these sorts of conflicts about, discrimination, and talking about, racial conflicts and stuff like that. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, have you, like, excuse me? Have you seen discrimination or racism in real life? That's not how this. It's so frustrating because it's really not. And I don't want to be necessarily kind of leaning too hard into the sort of very kind of weird modern speech that's going on these days. But when people talk about like microaggressions and so on and so forth, the general concept that stems forth from that, which is racism, is not, especially these days, is not necessarily about, hey, you stupid, derogative word, like get over here or whatever it is, right? It's not. It's it's much more subtle than that. It arises from these little actions, these little biases, these things where it's like, I'm going to block this person out or whatever it is. It's not about, wow, you're stupid, whatever it is, right? It's like, you're a stupid X race. You're dirty. I don't want to be. That's, do these things happen? Yes. Are they the norm, and like that? Are they the representation of what it means to be racist? And that's how we solve racism, like solve racism by getting rid of these sorts of people. And like, no, that's not how that works. Okay. So uh, I just want people to shut the fuck up about 86. Okay. Shut the fuck up. So that's my most overrated series. So the next obvious conclusion to that is the most underrated series. So starting with Dark here.
Oh, what? What are we doing?
Most underrated series.
Most underrated series. I put, because not many people were really talking about it. I put Kimono Jihen. I feel like it didn't get enough coverage when it came out. I thought it was really, really good.
Fair.
I'm excited to see a new season.
Okay.
I feel like for the people who spoke about it and knew about it, they held it in a good regard. But I do think it didn't get as much, sort of like as much eyes and as much like notoriety as it really should have from how I enjoyed it. So.
Okay. Toast. What about you?
We're on the series.
Underrated, yeah.
Let's give. What series should I recommend to everyone, but no one's talking about? You know what? I was gonna say give it to Duke of Death, and it's Black Maid. But if we're gonna talk specifically anime, I just say read the manga. The manga's longer. There's no way the anime could portray the depth of what goes on in that series was just without, it's the anime is incomplete. So I'm gonna cross that out. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say Heaven's Design Team. Hell yeah, I like that show.
Okay.
It's funny watching the what is it? The evolution of human thought, where you go from weird ass blob monsters to like trying to figure out like what this weird ass design concept is and turning into a real animal. It's like, what? Really? That's cool. Yeah. Heaven's Design Team. Watch that show. Pretty good.
All right. Near?
Um, yeah, I just want to preface that for underrated, I kind of try to, obviously the criteria is like a series that sort of goes under the radar and that in my view like deserve more attention. Um, but obviously I try to differentiate it from like say, for example, like something that I thought was the best anime of the year but didn't get like as many views as it should. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just is that. But I gave it to Mashiro no Oto because
Okay.
I did not see very many people talk about that series, and when I did see people talk about it, I feel like they didn't really, uh, they didn't really. I think they gave it sort of an unfair shake. The first couple episodes, especially the first episode, is sort of, it's a little bit. It's kind of trying to do too much at once, but as the series goes on, it really like comes into its own pace, especially by like episode 3, 4. So, um, yeah, I thought that series was really good.
Okay. All right. And my series, most underrated series, goes to, again, I pretty much always try to judge it between the delta of the general people who, and I do want to preface that when I say the community, I mostly mean the Western anime community, right? Not the Eastern. I think it's hard to, because it's like oftentimes they have a difference where there will be a lot of like big classics, for instance, in, um, in Japanese communities, obviously, that's not necessarily as big. For instance, um, an obvious one, right, would be something like, uh, well, I guess this is like a little bit more kids example, but it's still pretty big, right? So, I would say Doraemon, right? Doraemon
Yeah.
is not that big in the West, but it is literally like,
I mean, it's like a fucking cultural cornerstone.
yeah, exactly. Like when people make a reference, even in like, not even in Japan, in like Korea and China, for example, like you will find references to Doraemon. Like
What
that will absolutely be a thing.
what's the
So
what's the Korean name for Doraemon?
it's, yeah, it's Doraemon.
Oh.
Doraemon, but it's yeah, it's Doraemon.
You
It's
know
pretty much,
Doraemon, didn't they try to like dub Doraemon over here, but they had to cut a lot of Japanese content out and try to
Yeah.
Americanize it? That was
maybe,
weird.
yeah, it was because it was in the older days. But yeah.
Wasn't it recently?
So
So the last time I've seen Doraemon dubbed was like the old movie.
Pretty sure they tried to do that recently. Let me see.
No idea.
anyways, but yeah, so I do mainly judge it by the perception of the Western anime community.
Oh,
That isn't to say that the Eastern anime communities, mainly the Japanese anime community, isn't stupid. They absolutely can be stupid at times, but the viewpoint I take is mainly like that.
yeah,
So
let's see.
it's a delta between the perception of the Western anime community and what I think about the series. And that being said, I do think my award at least goes to Pretty Boy Detective Club, and I do think
Genuine
that
pretty boys.
Based.
yeah, they didn't like the Pretty Boys enough. But yeah, I think again, in addition to being a good Shaft series, a classic Shaft series, in addition to having pretty solid audio visuals, I think it's again one of the rare mystery series of the last couple of years. Every time these sorts of real like quote unquote mystery detective series come along, I differentiate between detective series. So a classic sort of what I would say or what I would call a detective series from this year or from 2021 would be The Detective Is Already Dead, where they're talking about all this thing and then talk about the mystery and not really cluing in the audience properly to, a lot of stuff that's going on. And then suddenly, boom, the detective solves it. And then they say like all the information, like, oh, it's because I saw blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
and then
And
they
you're like,
show a bunch of shit that was never shown on screen.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And you're like, okay. So that's what I call a detective series, because the focus is on the detective being a genius and solving everything. And look how fancy I am. And then a mystery series properly kind of shows like 80 to 100% of the details that are relevant to solving the mystery, or lays out all the details beforehand. And then they kind of go through all the mystery solving step by step with the audience in tow. Right. So it actually is about solving the mystery, as opposed to being like, look at me, I'm fucking, what is it, the crystals of chaos, the Ghostic shit, right?
Yeah.
It's not like that. So I
So
really do appreciate it for it being an actual mystery series.
so what I'm from gathering, the way you've always talked about this series, is this the new BTS?
The new BTS. I'm not sure if I'd go that far. Maybe if it appears in the United Nations, I'll think about it. But maybe not yet. But yeah, it's yeah, I do appreciate it a lot. So that it gets the most underrated series, because I don't think it blew up nearly enough. And
Yeah,
honorable mention to Your Eternity, which I do think
blew up those
was
boys.
pretty popular, but I feel like it should have ended up much more popular than it was than its reception overseas. So yeah, honorable mention to Your Eternity. But yeah, so that was that for most underrated series, and now we come to most pleasant surprise, or best pleasant surprise, or whatever. So starting off with Dark.
So for this one, again, this is another one where my criteria for this was kind of like not that I had low expectations going in, but that I either had like none or was like on a whim, like, okay, I guess like, maybe this will be something. And then it turned out to be, quite a lot more than I expected to enjoy. And for that, I gave it to Skate the Infinite. Um, I thought Skate was really, really fun. Uh, I still think it is. I think that it was really well animated. I think that, like earlier I said, I thought it had a really good soundtrack. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really expecting much from the series. I thought it was going to be very silly, but I didn't expect it to be like, not only was it like silly and fun, and of course it was like, you know, the sort of like boys club shit, but it also managed to have like, you know, characters like Adam being this wild character that they managed to pull off. And also just really good skate sort of like trivia and um call it like, I guess, aesthetic and theming. Like they really, you could tell people behind it played skate culture.
Right.
So yeah, I just think I think overall I was really surprised that it went sort of like that hard with it.
Okay. Pretty good. Toast.
Yours?
There we go. Most pleasant surprise, right?
Yes.
Again, what I've said before is I'm usually when I preview a series, I'm like, damn, this series is either gonna suck or it's gonna be good or it's gonna be average, and I'm usually never wrong. So when I pick it, plus most pleasant surprise, it's most likely like almost all the time the series. I'm like, I got a filler that I got. Spire's making me watch a filler series for this review. I gotta watch something. So I mean, that's usually what it is.
Uh-huh.
So my most pleasant surprise is gonna be Selection Project.
Okay.
Idly Pride sucked. Idol Project sucked. We Crossed Diva Alive sucked. All these idol projects suck. But yeah, Selection Project had a good story, good characters, nice songs. Everything that I didn't expect it to be from just from a lame ass idol series. Because why watch idols when I'm already invested in other idol cultures? But yeah,
Program.
Idly Pride, not Idly Pride, Selection Project. I liked it. Yeah, good.
Okay.
I definitely was surprised at how invested I got into the series
Mhm.
and the story of it, characters. So yeah, I'll give to Idly Pride. Y'all should watch it. My
Okay.
runner-up nomination, let's go to Heaven's Design for stuff that I said earlier.
Okay.
Heaven's Design team. Yeah, it's quirky, it's funny. Don't take it too seriously, but yeah, it's good.
All right. Near?
Mine's Super Cub.
Okay.
I I went into this with I don't even know what I expected when I went into this.
No, well, when we first covered it in a preview, we were like, "It's gonna be like Tamura." This is
Yeah,
Tamura,
like,
right? Yeah, like this is like what
um,
we were saying. I think exactly.
and it's it's a very strange series to talk about because like on the surface it's very much kind of just like it's like this weird like almost like corporate advertisement for like scooters, right? And
Yeah,
and
but like
watching it,
old scooters, not like
yeah,
actual new
you're
scooters.
not like really wrong, right? Like because like it's very much like yeah, it's like scooters, girls on scooters, they're riding their scooters, they like their scooters. Um, but there's this weird like sereneness to everything in the show, and it's paced in such a way that it's so calming, and the palette is just like soothing, and the environments are just so well drawn, and it's just
The
like
big thing is, like when we're talking about this, you have to be a little bit careful between describing a series that's calming and nice, which is again what Nier is saying, and one that is sleep-inducing, which is a
yeah,
very fine line. You know what I mean? Which
yeah,
a Super Cup definitely handles.
yeah. Um, it's it's like it's calming, but it's refreshing. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
it's a very strange show because again,
It's a very 2010s show.
the stuff they do in this show, it's literally just like they wash their bikes, they maintain them, and then they drive them around to places and sort of like
Right.
have like you know basically inconsequential conversations with each other. Uh, it just has this energy about it that's just like it's just so nice to watch. Um,
Mhm.
and it's just something you really would not expect upon like
Right.
reading the synopsis or like watching a PV. It really just feels like kind of like, oh, this is like some weird like CG
This
like
is gonna end up like
project.
Tamira. Fuck
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
But it's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that it's something that you gotta watch, but like um it's just got this really unique vibe about it that I think is very
Mhm.
much worth checking out.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I
Okay.
was very pleasantly surprised by Super Cup when I checked it out.
Okay.
You gonna buy a
Uh,
scooter down there?
I might, I just might.
anyways,
Can you ride a scooter near the Niagara Falls?
Um,
I'm not sure if you can do that.
there are roads near the Niagara Falls. So
But what if
yeah.
you slip? What if you slip? Aren't the roads wet from all the water?
I don't think that's how water
No,
works.
that's not how
I
a
don't think that's
waterfall
how water with tires works. But anyways, thinking here, and my series is going to be. It's going to be Taisho Tome Fairy Tale. So I had a lot of, how do I say this? This, not to be sort of a party pooper, but for me, this year was a very kind of like within expectations kind of year where it's not that, again, that there weren't series that were good or whatever, but a lot of the series that were good were pretty obviously sort of set up for success. You know
Yeah,
what I
they
mean?
were-
Like a lot of the stuff was like
they were
from a
going to be
mile away.
good.
You're like, yeah, it's like this seems pretty decent. We're like the series that were kind of meh. We're like, yeah, I mean, it'll kind of be within these boundaries, but it's not going to be a super hit or anything like that. Or the series that are kind of mediocre to bad. We're like, yeah, I can see this kind of dropping like a fly if something happens, stuff like that. So everything kind of fell within expectations, and I was almost considering just not giving anybody an award in this one, just go full Kyoani awards
Oh.
for this. But I did end up giving it to Taisho Tome Fairy Tale. I did think that not to say that it isn't cheesy, it is still cheesy, but the way the characters were written and then they go through kind of the developments and how the opposition is written and how that sort of integrates into the sort of larger than expected level of catharsis that you go through when you go through the emotional struggles of the main characters and they're kind of running through the events of what happens in the story, what happens in the actual timeline in during the Taisho era is pretty interesting. And again, I didn't expect myself to be swept up by the Taisho theme because, I mean, I am sort of a sucker for the whole like historical novels, the romance, Victorian era kind of stuff, whatever. But I didn't expect myself to be sucked up by the Taisho stuff as well. So it was a pleasant surprise for me, and I did like it. Honorable mention does go to Shadow's House. So yeah. So that was it for best pleasant surprise, and now we're moving on to best or biggest disappointment, starting again with Dark.
I would say mine easily goes to One Direct Priority.
Okay. No,
Just-
yeah, I've heard you talk about this many times.
Yeah. So, like, what else is there left to say? I was telling
Mhm.
Nier earlier, and just like biggest disappointment, correct?
Yes.
Yes, biggest
Yeah.
disappointment.
So, like, I was talking to Nier about this earlier, and it's like in the podcast when I covered this, I was on like episode 6 or 7 or something. And I was like, yeah, they just got to keep on keeping on. Like, there's no way they'll do it. They'll fumble this. And then, like, episode 8 or 9 comes around, and they're like, yeah, but what about, like, AI? What about, like, AI and like, a multiverse? What about that? And I'm like, no, no, no.
No, eh.
Well, could have just been unexplained magic. Could have just done that. That would have been cool. And sure enough, they fumbled the shit out of it. People keep saying that they fumbled it in the final wrap-up episode thing, the OVA. They didn't. They did it long before that.
Whenever
That
people
was
like,
kind of the ribbon on it, like the shitty fucking ribbon. But like, I don't think people realized the moment they introduced AI and shit, their fate was sealed.
whenever people like try to justify stuff like this or like talk about filler in an anime series or some bullshit like that, right? Like I always make that that meme like kind of cringe face that Larry David makes in like the one of the Curb Your Enthusiasm things, or it's like,
Yeah.
have you seen that meme gif where he's like
Yeah.
really makes that cringe face? It's like Yeah, I always make that face when people try to justify. It's like, don't try to justify laziness, okay? Don't do that.
I don't
But
even know
yeah,
if it was laziness. I think it was just
or
like pseudo fucking
it's
like
not good. Yeah,
depth and like trying way too hard to be like, we need to explain everything, wrap up
right.
everything. And it's like, you don't need to do any of that. In
Yeah.
fact, you not doing that would have left mystery and left theories and left more to be explored
Right.
and enjoyed instead of like in 3 episodes trying to justify like fucking alternate realities and like fucking AIs
Uh-huh.
that you also don't even explain anyway. Like these 2 fucking guys just made like a hyper advanced AI that somehow influences people's thoughts and emotions. Like, okay, well, cool. Don't do that anymore.
Okay. Toast. What about you? Biggest disappointment,
My biggest
please.
disappointment? I could take the easy route and say Redo Healer.
Were you really disappointed?
There
Were
was
you really
a
disappointed by it?
disappointment.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Were you
I'm
really
I'm
disappointed
I'm
by
going I'm going to give a hot take and say that the best episode of Redo Healer was episode 2.
it? Okay, that's not
Because the way
related. Yeah.
the way he smacks his wiener against her face, that's supremely funny. And then
Okay, but
that's like the highlight of the series. But after that, it's kind of boring. It's like, oh, I mean, if this was like two episode OVA, that'd be great as a hentai series.
wait. Did you expect it to be good though?
Yeah, sure, why not?
No.
I wanted
I
a, I
know.
want
I'm not sure about that type of what.
I wanted a fantastic series about
Fantastic.
revenge and whatnot.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
But
We
then
can. We can call. Yeah. Okay.
We get
All right.
lots of
It
those.
didn't. It didn't meet your expectations. So because you expected it to be wonderful, right? A wonder, like a very like
want
Steve Harvey level, of, like
I wanted a
wonderful series about
compelling
expectations.
series of revenge, but then it's like it's shallow ass revenge. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and it's like then I get the girl, and I'm like, oh, that's boring. This is boring.
Okay.
This series is boring. Even the
Right.
the scenes that are supposed to titillate you, they're boring. Just watch real
Mm.
hentai. Who cares? After episode 2, everything was boring. It's like, why am I even watching this? Like, I'm waiting for the special uncensored version. I'm bored of this. And I watched the whole thing. That sucked. But yeah, that's the easy way out. But my real one was Bokutachi no Remake. I hate that series.
uh,
I hate that series. I don't like I don't like any of the characters in that series. It started off good. It's like, oh, okay. I'm gonna use my magic going back in time 7 years, 10 years. So I can make this. I have regrets. I'm just telling you, I can go back 10 years, and I'm going to make this super cool game with my friends that I knew, and I'm going to use my influence to change them. But guess what? All his meddling has made things worse. It's like, oh, I'm going to do this. It's like, oh, now I don't. The main gripe about this series is by meddling by meddling back in time. Instead of having the other characters grow, and develop their own develop in their own way and aspire to their own dreams. By him going back in time and fiddling with it, he gets in the way of their character development and takes it all for himself. And it shows when he goes suddenly goes forward in time, and it's like, oh, I'm successful now, but wait, there's a catch. That girl that I like, I liked her drawings. She doesn't draw anymore because of something that happened. And I was like, you idiot! That's something that happened. It was because of your fault. You didn't let her, experience the harshness of life, and and grow on her own merit. You just made them all dependent on you because you're like this. Oh, I know, I can predict how this works. How did you know how to do this? I just know. Can't say it's because I'm from the future, and it's like, seriously, I
yeah.
can't. If there was a worst main character this year, I'd give it to him. Him.
No, I can understand that.
Sec-
I also saw it.
Second runner up to being worst character would probably be that fuckboy from Rental Girlfriend.
This is the first time. This is the first
Hell yeah. That was the funniest chapter
This is the
ever.
first time I've heard Toast be so vitriolic about like a main character. So because he usually doesn't isn't that like forthright about like this guy. Like he'll be like, this guy sucks, like, and that'll be more or less it. But he has definitely not been this vitriolic since I think like Rental Girlfriend is the first time he's been on this level.
Oh, you want me to talk about how much I don't like Suzuka?
No, I
No, it's
don't.
okay.
Because if we could talk about Suzuka, I don't like Suzuka,
That is
or
true.
I don't even remember her name anymore. I don't care. Fuka, yeah, Fuka. Fuka sucks. Hate that series too. But yeah,
Okay.
I mean, if you want a better series about that dude going back in time and trying to fix things, is a series called "I'd Die for Your First Time." It stars an old ugly bastard, but it has a really good story that I like.
All right.
When's that anime coming out?
Please. All right.
Why not?
Anyway,
What's wrong with that series? You don't like that series? I do.
I don't know, but
Do you even know what I'm talking about? But
I've
yeah,
heard of it. Yes.
Pokemon No Remake sucks. I hate that series.
All
It's
right.
still ongoing, and it's still just as bad as ever. Honorable mention, Rental Girlfriend, but we, that's for another time.
All right.
This
Thank you,
is anime
Toast.
and not manga.
All right. We need to move on. Near.
Yeah. So I'd like to just point out the fact that I really wasn't disappointed by very much this year.
Mhm.
A lot of the
Things
series
fell within expectations. Is
yeah,
what
a
you're
lot of the series I obviously had some gripes with some stuff, I think most notably I had some pretty big gripes with Godzilla Singular Point.
saying. Why is there red sand everywhere?
Yeah, I had some gripes with some of the earlier episodes of Heikemonogatari, stuff like that. But at the end, I feel like a lot of the series either came into their own or they had enjoyable aspects to them regardless. But there weren't very many series that I was like, excited for, watched, and was sort of let down. Outside of two, one of which, my honorable mention, is probably going to be Odd Taxi. I was fairly excited for Odd Taxi from
Oh, okay.
the previews, from the PVs. I thought it had a uh, nice tone to it, nice
Mhm.
vibe. But again, covered it in podcast. I've covered it in this episode. It ended up just being boring and uh, not cohesive. But I'd say my biggest disappointment probably going to be um, Garandal,
Okay.
which is another series I covered, and is a series that I really really liked. Right, I really liked it when I
Yeah, I
started
thought
it.
you liked it too. Yeah.
I did, and I really like the first three episodes. The first three episodes were really fucking good, but then the idol stuff kicked in, and
Oh, right.
it
No,
sort
you
of
talked about this.
it sort
Yes.
of shifted its focus away from being sort of a celebration of mecha tropes and tokusatsu stuff in general to sort of a more general sort of kind of just believe in yourself, and doesn't matter what kind of like weird hobby or whatever you're into, you should just be yourself kind of messaging. And it sort of just felt diluted, and I sort of fell out of love with the series, which is really
Yeah, you talked about
unfortunate
this.
because
Yes.
I think those first three episodes, um, they hooked me really hard, and I really wanted more of that. But the series just sort of had a, I guess, a different idea. I don't know, and I was not along for the ride. Again, I do think it's an enjoyable show. It just sort of veered off course for what I wanted. But yeah.
Okay. All right. No, I definitely understand. Yeah, I do remember you talk about this. All right. My biggest disappointment again. This one I did end up going the full like Kyoani awards route, and I did not give biggest disappointment award to anybody because again, kind of things fell within my expectations. I don't know whether I'm just becoming a cynical old man or whatever, but it's like a lot of stuff where I'm just like at a first glance, I'm just like if it's not special enough, I'm just like, yeah, it'll probably become mediocre to bad, or like it'll flip, or at best, it'll just kind of like it'll hit this like glass ceiling, right? It'll just be kind of this X series, and then kind of go off, and it'll kind of be bad. And most series kind of fell upon that. The closest one that kind of would have gotten it was like Aquatope, because it's like if I had no idea of what PA Works was as a studio at
Yeah.
all, if I didn't know that name, I would have been like, oh, maybe this is pretty good, and then I would have gotten like slammed or some shit like
Yeah,
that,
I would also like to amend my preface and say
right?
I did not watch a PA Works series this year, so there's that.
PA Works is so good, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I didn't know that name, I would have probably written it as biggest disappointment, but I did. So I was not phased by
Yeah.
it
At this
being
point,
bad at all.
at
Yeah.
this point, you see PA Works and you're like, I'm
Mm,
expecting to be
yeah.
disappointed.
It's like you're not off probation yet, sir.
Yeah.
It's like you need to show me a good series before you
You
before
need to
before we
show
put
me
this.
at least like 3 good series. Like
Yeah.
just
3 good series in a year, and we'll give you like one of those tracking ankle bracelets, and we'll
yeah,
let you
and
like
then
be at home.
yeah, you can walk around your front yard, bro. Like
Yeah, exactly. You need to do some community service beforehand, but you'll be out. It's
yeah.
like 6 months. Yeah. So it was at that level. So I ultimately did not give my biggest disappointment to anybody because everything kind of fell within expectations. Again, that may mean I'm more cynical or whatever, but it is what it is. Honorable mention did go to, however, Tact Opus Destiny,
Yeah.
because again we talked about this during its review, where it essentially got enough money to probably like build a small like rocket, right? It
Yep.
probably got it was from Dina. It got money from Dina, from Banco, from and it was working under what is Mappa Madhouse, stuff like
Mappa
that.
and Madhouse.
Yes, yes, and it was poised to be really good. And it was kind of like okay, like it was fine, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like, but it wasn't like like it wasn't like whoa, fuck, really, like that happened during the action scene or whatever it was. So, um, probably that came close to being the biggest disappointment. So, but it wasn't like again, because it wasn't like the series was actually that like bad at all, really. So I couldn't really give it the biggest disappointment because there wasn't that big of a delta between like what I thought it would be and like what it ended up being. So honorable mention is all. So that was that. And so that was the bulk of our awards in the anime show. Before we go on to our main stuff in the worst and best series, we do want to maybe go over, if we do have unique individual awards that we each have, just spiel them out right now. Does anybody have, and it's okay if you guys don't have any, obviously. Dark, do you have any like miscellaneous awards that you want to list/give out?
Yeah. So I have 3. I have
Okay.
Not Bad Enough for High Guardian Spice, pretty self-explanatory.
Uh-huh.
The counterpoint, So Bad It Was Amazing for X-Arm. Um, like fucking watch it. Like it's not even like you will be entertained the entire way through. Like
Mm.
it is fucking crazy. And then I put also Most Improved for Kobayashi-san season 2. I think season 2 was extremely well done, and I think it's kind of what like season 1 should have been. You know, it's what you would expect from like Kiyoani, which for sort of like an adaptation of something like this.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Pretty good. Toast.
What's up?
Any miscellaneous / personal sort of unique awards that you want to give out?
Does that include the worst and best favorite series? No.
No, this is
I had-
before.
All right, best movie, Hathaway. I guess. I think it's the only one I watched. I forgot to watch the Sao movie, and I'm kind of regretting that. The good one, the Sao, the one where it's on Asana's POV, not Kirito's. I missed that. Whatever. So yeah, I just watched Hathaway. So Hathaway's good. Best sports series, Burning Comedy. Hell yeah.
Mm.
None of you knew what comedy was, and I was like, what's wrong with you people?
Yeah,
Honorable
sorry I
mention.
didn't know this sport where the fucking players ritualistically chant comedy over and over.
Did you not watch that one episode of Lucky Star? Lucky Star? Was it Lucky Star or Haruhi where they had comedy? Guess not.
I don't remember that.
No, not Lucky Star. I'm sorry. It's Full Metal Panic.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I don't remember that.
You don't remember the part where the guy said comedy until he passed out, and they're like, "Damn, let's keep going."
Guess not. It's been a while.
Yeah.
A fucking long ass time.
I'll mention Battle Athletes dying Dokai Restart. I forgot what it was about, but I think that was a sports series. Best Isekai Suki ga Michibiku. Because I like that series. Honorable mention Kumo, because that one's good too. Yeah. Best 3D anime Duke of Death, because I think that's the only one that counts.
X
Yeah,
Arms, hello.
I said best.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's not 3D. That's Blender. Is that it? Sure. Best fight scene. That one scene from that one helicopter scene from X Arms. That was really stupid.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I hate that scene, but it's so good. That's it.
That whole episode was wonderful. You had a church with fucking 3 different perspectives. Oh,
And
I
like,
gotta rewatch that.
wasn't the church like not even part of the scenery? There was something off about that church.
Yeah, it was like the
perspective is so
it was
fucked
that the trees
yeah, the
were so
perspective,
thick
the
behind it.
perspective was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, the church was like would have had to be on like a downward fucking slope, and then like the sidewalk in the church would have to met at like a point. And then it had trees, a forest behind it, between it and the city behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I'm good.
Okay. All right. What about Nier? Do you have any miscellaneous personal stuff?
I have one.
Okay.
I have a Person of Excellence award, basically.
Okay.
And I wanted to give it to Shingo Natsume, who, if you don't know, he was the director of Space Dandy, both seasons, One Punch Man, first season, Aka
Oh, yeah.
yeah, Aka
He also did
13,
Boogie Pop.
yeah, he did Boogie Pop,
Aka.
and
Wow.
this year he was the director, script writer, and storyboarder for every single episode of Sunny Boy.
Oh.
And he did a good fucking job, I'll say.
Mhm.
But yeah, just very, very impressive to be putting in that much work series. So
No, definitely. Okay. Pretty good. How do I say this? I have, I want to say, sort of 2 recipients of 1 award. So the 1 award I will give out is the Worst Precedent Award. So this is an award that I'm giving in terms of saying, okay, this is not the type of series or genres or kind of sort of concepts that we should be encouraging in terms of making future anime series, right? Like we shouldn't be feeding the fucking, hungry demons, right? Who some fucking stupid, niche fans who want to see this bullshit just so we can get some money because it sets up a slippery slope. And I don't like using slippery slope, but in these cases, a lot of times that is what happens, and it gets more and more of these types of series end up being released, and now we have a dumpster fire on our hands, and I don't like having dumpster fires on my hand on our hands while we're watching anime. That's not a pleasant thing. So, the 2 recipients of the Worst Precedent Award are 1, Redo of Healer. Stop fucking making these series. We've had it. We saw the example. I thought, Ishizoku Reviewers was the fucking guinea pig. Apparently it's not. Apparently it's Redo of Healer was the other guinea pig. Stop fucking making these series. Stop doing it. Stop trying to stretch the limit of what sort of stupid fucking filth that you can find on Alpha Police or Shosetsu or Shosetsu R18 or whatever it is. Stop doing it. Stop trying to. I would rather have a bunch of boring isekai stuff than you guys go into whoever's stupid messed up fan fiction and like I don't want to enter summer 2023 or fall 2023 or summer 2022 and have an isekai that's like, oh, I turned my childhood friend into a meat toilet or whatever. I don't want these series. Don't put
When's
these
that coming out?
I don't know, but it's
But
like
what about Isekai NTR? That's a series that'll come out.
whatever it is, like don't do these sorts of like obviously stupid power fantasy filth like R18 stuff that aren't even like let them stay as smut fanfics. Don't put this shit on my anime blog. So
Do you,
that's what
do you
yep.
think there's gonna be another series that's on the same level of animation as
I
this?
think
I
people
don't
will
think so.
absolutely same level of animation, or are you talking about story?
Animation stories, whatever. But it's like they,
Uh,
if
I
they
think the
kind
main
of
problem
put
with
some
Redo Killer
money,
was the story, not the animation.
kind of
I'm
put
just
some
saying.
money into that series. It's like, why?
But do you think putting? Yeah, I mean, I think if you're talking about mainly like, do you think any other like bigger studio will put in more
Yeah.
effort to
Who?
do these bigger things? I think people will continually try to push these projects that are both kind of pushing the limit of like what you can air on TV and the ones that are getting a bunch of bookmarks on bookmark slash favorites on Shosetsu because fucking edgelords and people who want to fucking jack off to, you know, girls getting raped or whatever, right? These people again, it's a fanfic site. Shosetsu is a fanfic site. It is not some official like web novel, light novel creation site that caters to the best. No, it's a fucking filthy fanfiction site. So I do think that these editors are trying to find the popular ones that are going to be like, oh, this is the edgy one that people are going to find out on social media. We're going to aim for it, and they're going to keep pushing these types of anime series, and eventually one of them will break the bar that Redo of Healer has set. So, at least in
Oh,
my opinion.
oh fuck! I forgot one of my awards. Oh well.
Oh, what was it?
You really want to know?
Go for it.
Okay. Speaking of Redo of Healer, best hentai of the year.
Okay.
I'm
bless.
gonna give it to you know what? I'm gonna give it to the new one that I'm gonna give it to Kyonyu Elf Oyaku Saimin, episodes 1 and 2. Pretty
This is
good.
1 and 2. You gotta watch them both. Yes.
I mean, it's freaking Bunny Walker. You have to watch both, or else you're
Okay.
Or else
All right.
you're kind of a loser.
You're missing out.
Why stop at one when you've got two? Bunny Walker's like the prime.
You gotta finish it off. Yeah, you gotta make sure you finish off.
You thought Kuro Inu was good? Well, it was.
I don't know.
Well,
But
I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people have that specific opinion, but yeah, sure.
Find me a person who says that Kuro Inu wasn't good. But yeah, Majin Label, they're kind of slacking. Bunny Walker, they're mwah. They're keeping it real, you know. But seriously, find me a person who doesn't like Kuro Inu. At least episode 1. Everyone knows episode 1 is the best one by far. Episode 6, what is it? 4 to 6. Those are kind of drop off, but one is the perfect one.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Toast. Let me go over the other award recipient, quote unquote, of the worst precedent thing. So the first one for me was again redo of Healer for worst precedent award, and the other one was the ASMR one. It was 108秒で君の耳を幸せにできるか? It's like can I make your ears happy in 180 seconds, right? So it was that short, like 3-minute short about, various famous voice actresses doing the ASMR stuff.
Well, you didn't like that one?
What?
You didn't like that one?
Did I like that one?
Why did you not like that one?
Oh, what I'm saying is like, even like I'm a voice actor like nerd, and like I like talk about like the different like sounds and stuff like that. So it's like I don't mind the ASMR genre in itself, but it's like I don't.
Should it really be on TV?
Yeah, I don't think it's just not. Don't have it on TV. It's just not worth. It's just not worth making it into an anime. Just it's enough. It's a clearly such clear like 3 minutes of here's a famous female voice actress. You guys all like her. You guys all jerk off to her, right? Fucking here's 3 minutes of her speaking into the mic. Give us your money. It's like, do we really need to like at this point like we might as well just be like like why are we even making anime at this point, right? Just fucking release ASMR checks and just sell them. Like that's all. Again, that's even what I believe Kadokawa has been doing recently, like on their YouTube channel. They've been releasing like random ASMR tracks of like famous or not famous but like voice actresses enacting their characters in anime series and doing ASMR around them or some bullshit like that, right? It's like they've for Buso Shoujo Machiavellianism, right? They've gotten all like the different like voice actresses and done each of like their skits or whatever. So it's like at this point, just do drama CDs. Just do drama CDs or whatever. Like, why are you guys trying to do this bullshit? And like, what I'm again afraid of is that once this happens, it'll just kind of all devolve into that. It's just like, you fucking like the female voice actresses, so fucking just they'll speak into some binaural mic. Just give us your money, retards. It's like, I don't want that. I don't want that timeline. So keep that, on DL site or on the official YouTube channels or wherever it is. Put the drama CDs there, sell it, whatever you want to do. Don't make it into an anime. Don't do that shit. So that's my opinion on the ASMR stuff, and that was also my second recipient again of the worst precedent award. Again, the award where I feel this should not be a precedent to set for future anime going forward. So yeah, that was all of our miscellaneous awards, and we are finally on track to do our worst and best or least favorite and favorite series. Starting off, obviously, with our worst / least favorite series, Dark. What do you have?
Okay. So obviously these are never going to be objective, rather. Because that would be fucking boring. If it was objective, literally everyone here should be giving it to X-Arm. Like, there's no, there's no fucking way you could argue that that is not the worst thing that's come out this year. But obviously that aside, I gave it yet again big winner tonight, Wonder Egg Priority.
Mhm.
Just because it's like, you had it and then you fucking dropped it in not even the last half. You dropped it in the last like eighth. So yeah, I don't know. It's just it's insanely disappointing. It had a lot of promise. Basically, I give it to a series each year that makes me feel every emotion in like, the clip from the Star Wars prequel, I hate you. And then
Oh, yeah.
like
The
I
point where
hate
Anarchus in the lava, or like just he fell down near the lava in Mustafar, and he's just like
yeah,
screaming.
I am both Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah.
You are the chosen one.
You're supposed to bring value.
I hate you.
Yeah.
It's like in the first part I loved you. So that's what
Great
gets
points,
my
great.
vote.
Uh-huh. All right. Toast. What about you? Worst series of the year or least favorite? Toast
Gonna
is dead.
say,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, you know what? Boku no Remake. I hate that series. I'm not gonna talk about why I hate it again. Runner up,
Okay. No,
that
reasonable.
stupid ass drugstore one. That one. At least episode 1 was. No, maybe that one yandere part was kind of funny. That's boring. Yeah, Boku no Remake. I hate that show. I don't want to bring up why I hate that show again because I'll go on about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like that show.
All right. Thank you, Toast. Near.
This one was surprisingly not easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I feel like I should give it to X-Arm, right? Just like I don't know, like a fucking civic responsibility or something. Like he just deserves it, right? But
But
Yeah.
X-Arm was funny.
X-Arm was really funny.
Yeah.
And it was like it was really funny. But on the other hand, I also did not watch the PA Works series this year. And there wasn't too much that I really outwardly disliked outside of like Odd Taxi, I guess. But I don't really know if Odd Taxi necessarily deserves worst of the year. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So I guess among the series that I watched that I feel like I could give it to, it's probably Battle Game in 5 Seconds.
Okay.
Just because it's so like just it's so like generic, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's really nothing like it's a battle. It's literally just a survival game, right? It's like here's a bunch of people, they're in a survival game, we're gonna pit them against each other. They got superpowers, and there's really nothing else going on. You know, like it's not like necessarily bad at what it does, but it's like, do you really want to watch that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I feel like at the end of the day, X Arms deserves it, but it was really funny. So it dodges the bullet.
Right.
So yeah, I'll give it to Battle Game in 5 seconds.
X-Arm kind of dodged the bullet by being so bad it kind of went around, right? It took the U-turn and
Yeah,
like
it's
Yeah,
like
it was just wild.
it's like
The decisions made.
it's like how
it was a
everyone
good decision at the end to be so bad.
it's like how everyone talks about like Sharknado or whatever, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like so bad, it's good.
Sharknado,
But the
yeah.
thing is, like Sharknado tries to be that, right? Like it's going
Uh,
for that. Like it's going for that B type cheese.
uh-huh.
But like you can tell X Arms was not going for that. Like
Yeah, no, absolutely
it's
not. Absolutely not.
serious. Like it's
Japanese series like pretty much don't do that.
like
the
it's
energy.
very much trying to be like serious and gritty, and it's like, dude, like
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah,
It's
Yeah,
I mean,
at best, there were a lot of people behind the scenes, like Daisuke, who realized very quickly, oh, this shit ain't gonna work, like
yeah,
whatever, and just fucked around. And it's
Right.
like, but that is a far cry from
Like the
trying to
general
put together
direction.
something
Yeah, exactly.
cheesy. Yeah.
Right.
And it also did give us a a director to keep our eyes on.
yeah.
Because holy shit, Karate Girl was a fucking rip. It was like that really secures the idea. It's like a tourism, like that should no longer be a theory.
It's a real,
Like,
bro. It's real.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
not a theory. Okay, don't never say the auteur theory. It's just auteurism. Fucking
Tour, yeah.
yeah, it's auteurism. Like the Karate Girl, like it was him. It's
Right.
him in
Yeah.
essence, captured on the screen yet again. So, you know, yeah, I would agree.
Okay. I guess my turn then is my worst slash least favorite series again goes to redo of Healer with honorable mention to High Guardian Spice as well as X Arm. Those two, the latter two, should be obvious as to why I put them there because they're not very good series. But redo of Healer is egregious in the obvious sense. Again, I want to preface this. I don't mean to like this is not a brag at all, but I have trawled. I think trawled or like been in the mud of these fucking shosetsu web novels and like random light novels and so on that tread the borderline, just being the silliest and like most retarded power fantasies imaginable. Before people even heard about the word isekai in their midst, or people even like thought that isekais could be quote unquote edgy, like Goblin Slayer or Arifureta or Redo of Healer. I was reading Redo of Healer before people were even like, Goblin Slayer did what? Like, before even any of that shit happened. So these are things that I partake in, and sometimes I have, a closet sort of like guilty pleasure in these like cheesy power fantasies and stuff like that. But Redo of Healer is obviously just like very much just it's very carnal for the sake of being carnal is the nicest way I could put it, right? And it's just like I just want to do this because I want to have rape scenes in my novel or whatever it is. Like that's a thing that was mentioned in like the interviews and so on. And the anime, like, why is this an anime? Again, like, what possible justification other than, oh, yeah, the series is so edgy, it'll pop up in social media, it'll go viral, and then we'll get all the views, or like this is the power fantasy that all these anime nerds want, so we'll get, other than these depraved,
It's about artistic
obnoxious.
expression.
I apologize. Yeah, artistic expression. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Like,
artistry of looking like a fucking hentai that
rapist.
came
Yeah,
out
yeah, exactly.
20 years ago.
It was literally drawn by like an Edo Dojin author or artist, Shokombu. But either way, other than having all these deprived, capitalistic, greedy thoughts, why would you want to make this anime? Why? Why? What reason is there to really encourage this sort of concept in the first place? I don't think there is. And it's just really silly, honestly, to see this level of retardation. Again, the only way we can elevate anime as a medium to be like to get mainstream appreciation and have more money rolling in and have anime become better and better is to treat anime as a proper medium and not fill it with a bunch of, fucking Naruto running, like fucking
I'm
isekai
gonna be
world
honest with you,
saving.
man. When
But
you brought up redo of Healer fucking a year ago,
yeah,
I was expecting like something way different. I thought it was gonna be like D&D, a fucking like priest that is secretly like a villain in the series or
no,
something.
no.
There's gonna be this actual like big, semi-compelling series. And then I saw it and I was like, oh, oh, okay.
Wait a minute, Spire was actually right about it. But
Well,
yeah.
because you also technically gaslit me, sense of
Did I? Yeah.
making it be like, because the way you spoke about it, I thought it was going to actually be this series that like people will like fucking talk about, like Shield Hero or something, and
They
to
did
be
though.
like
I mean,
compelling.
it is.
Did
Is the
they?
thing. Yes, they
But
did.
you're
But the
mistaking
thing is,
people.
the
But
problem
you're
is,
mistaking those people to be perceptive people. What I'm saying is, retards in the community, aka most of them, will
I
talk
thought
about
they just kind of like
enjoyment.
picked it up and were like, well, this happened. This is a fucking thing that exists. And then they dropped it.
no.
Like,
Oh,
Do
most
you
people talk
not
about it.
do you
Like,
yeah, do you not remember seeing the people that were like, yeah, like this series
like you
pisses
don't
people
get that.
off, so I'm gonna watch it. It's
Yeah,
literally the same shit that people did fucking Goblin Slayer, same shit they did with Shield Hero. Although
yeah.
I feel like Shield
Paprika.
Hero was like the least egregious of these ones because like Shield
Shield Hero
Hero
at
had
least
like
had a back, like
yeah, it
they
had
had
like
like
some
other
sort
things
of
going for it.
it had like some
Things,
sort of substance going on
yeah,
beyond like the revenge stuff,
yeah,
and it
exactly.
wasn't like pure edge. It wasn't about fucking just like owning these dumb bitches. It was like
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was like
exactly.
a story.
Gender
You
equality,
know?
bro. Like,
Yeah, like
yeah. But the sentiments for when it was being discussed, right, and like
yeah, they
why
were
it was
basically the
quote unquote
same.
cool, right? The sentiments were similar. That's the major thing. But
yeah,
the
the way you talked about it, I thought it was going to have like way more staying power. I mean, granted, like I said, I thought it was going to be completely different and actually like,
yeah, I guess
something
you
that
did.
had themes.
I don't know whether I thought it would have staying power, but I definitely thought at least it would make an impact on social media. I think that was also what I kind of pointed out. Like,
I didn't think it was going to be like, just smut. Like you're
Oh
just
yeah,
smut.
it's just smart. I remember
it's
seeing like
more
a
or less.
recap of it on A like many years ago, and I was like, wow, they really just write this, huh?
Again,
Yeah.
daily reminder for when the web novel got turned into a light novel. And again, this was all in the interview, and this is in the official. In the light novel, there are bonus rape scenes. I
Yep.
cannot emphasize this enough. Who the fuck is like, yeah, our thing became mainstream now. Like this is such a far think about this. Like 10 years ago, when was Oreimo released? Was it 2008, 2010? When was this? 2011 or some shit?
I don't think it. I think it was early. I think it was like '08.
When was this fucking shit, man? I'm gonna fucking it's 2008, right? It started 2008. It ended. Wow, it ended 2021. Really? There's no way. No, there's no way.
No,
Oreimo ended 2028. It was
that was the manga ended.
no, that was the side stories. Okay, so this is the last main story ended 2013, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So 2013. So let's just say 2013 because that was sort of the main thing where I got like angry about how it was like whatever it was, right? And I was like, okay, 2010 to 2013, like the Oreimo series went on a huge boom, right? And it was like it ended even on like government like boards, right, along with Index or whatever at the time,
yeah,
right? And I kept saying like that was part of the reason like Oreimo went so mainstream that there was no way for Oreimo to actually have the same ending
yeah.
that
They had to reel it back basically.
yeah, exactly. So it's like I believe in I think the light novel was revised as well, right? It definitely didn't happen in the anime, obviously, but the only time it really the canon sort of ending that was supposed to happen, the incest ending, sort of, right, in a sense, the implied incest wedding ending, only happens in like the PSP fanfics or like in the PSP main game or whatever the fuck it was, right? I think in the even
Pretty-
light.
I'm pretty sure it ended up happening in the light. Well,
Yeah, okay. And
later
the light
on,
novel,
but-
yeah, it was implied like they came back and they were like holding hands or some shit like that, right? Right? Like they were
I
like they
think
were
in the
ready for
manga, it
wedding.
was like they did like a pretend wedding kind of.
Yeah, and it was implied that later
Yeah.
on they would like kind of hook up in secret or some bullshit like that. Yeah. So it's like they had to be like the author had to be pretty discreet about it, right?
Yes.
It wasn't like it wasn't like yo, is this happening? Like like this is much less. Like this is 100 times less down on the scale than random people getting raped, as it was in Rito of Healer. And even then, he still had to tone it down. And now here we are in 2021, and the guys, the artists and the writers are just like, yeah, bro, we broke out into the mainstream. We got turned into a random niche web novel on fanfiction.net into a light novel. Now we're going to add bonus rape scenes. Like, think about how mentally fucked up that is for a second. Like, no, don't do that. So
Don't king shame, Spire. Don't king shame.
I apologize for arguing this rapist. Yes. But anyways,
Spire, stop fetishizing rape.
wait, what?
Yeah, I don't think Spire's the one doing that.
But
Stop.
anyway,
Yeah, we all know that. Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
yeah.
I'll stop here.
Yeah. But anyways, that was it's just like it's just no. Don't let this become a defining bar in anime that anyone has to try to break. But I know that from now on that editors out there will be rushing to break that sort of bar every once in a while just to get on social media, just to get the views, just to be like, we're the unique anime series. You should give us the money because that's how fucking this shit works. That's how capitalism works. And so it's really almost demoralizing to see that sort of shit. And this is the sort of shit that will get dragged out in discussions that will end up on Bloomberg or New York Times or Washington Post whenever people point out like what is the effect of the anime culture on people. They'll bring out fucking Redo of Heal. They'll bring out Ishizoku reviewers. You think that they'll point out Bell or In This Corner of the World or whatever Monogatari series, or point out all these things that we love and enjoy watching when we talk about what is anime as a medium, what can anime be as a medium. Do you think they'll talk about it? No, they'll always talk about this shit. Oh, look at this anime, power fantasy, male fantasy, they're all fucked up nerds or whatever it is. So we can't allow this shit to happen. This is not acceptable. So definitely Redo of Heal, our worst series. And again, honorable mention to High Guardian Spice and X Honor. So my mini rant, again, apologies. But
Heard it here first, folks. High Guardian Spice almost as bad as rape.
Yeah. Oh, is as bad as rape.
Just try.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
Man, I still can't believe Goblin Slayer got like, oh, this is so bad, and I'm like, you thought this was bad?
Yeah.
I mean, it showed the grim
I mean,
reality
Goblin
things.
Slayer got bad because it didn't do
It didn't.
it kind of throws shit at you.
Toast was talking about like people's reactions to it, like, could anything be worse than Goblin Slayer?
Like it didn't fetishize it at all.
Rabbit hole.
And it's like,
You don't know the rabbit
really?
hole.
Have you been to this Josette site? Like,
Like
I don't think you
the
have.
bad part about this scene was that it kind of doesn't do anything provocative with it. Not the fact not the fact that these things are happening.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Anyway.
I'm crying and shaking. I can't watch any more Goblin Slayer. And I'm like, okay, dude.
All right. Anyways, moving on. Again, this is our last awards of the evening. Awards. I don't know why plural. Put that in plural. Last award of the evening. Awards section, I guess. And it is obviously our best slash favorite series. And drum roll, please goes to Dark. First off,
Why not?
here
You
what
know
we
what,
have
Spike? You know what,
first.
Spike? If it's the last one, why don't you start?
Okay, do you want me to go first?
You've been putting Dark on the spot for a while. You know what? I'll let you should go first, so you can't say last but not least anymore to yourself.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for catching me, actually.
I wanted to start a betting pool of whether he was going to say it.
Wait, yeah, but then I was gonna accidentally say it. Yeah, exactly. So my favorite slash favorite best slash favorite series is, as some people might be able to predict, Osama
Pretty boys?
ranking.
Oh,
Pretty much close, very close. Osama ranking, so ranking of kings. I mean, if you guys watched or if you guys listened to the first part of this episode, the award show, I don't think it's much of a surprise. I pretty much gave it, best character, best cast, best OP, so on. But I just, it's great. I don't know what else to really say about it. The develop that I didn't say before, or that other people haven't said before. The development is good. The story, the general sort of idea of the character, excuse me, the kind of character Bochi meeting with the others and kind of struggling, right? Going through his struggles, while the other characters also, it's not like the other characters are just there. They're like, oh, I'm bad, or I'm good, or I'm the sidekick. That's not what happens. The other characters all have sort of their own struggles, and they all kind of show their human sides as well for the most part. And that's all really adding to the story while Buchi is still going through, while he's doing stuff with Kage, and that combined with the great, so charming and consistent quality visuals coming from Wit Studio, add that on to the OST, add that on to the opening, ending, brilliant work by King New for the openings. Just all of it just comes together to create a very sort of smooth tasting, like it's just like, oh, this is the anime like I would be proud to show, anybody really on the street, to my parents, whoever, and be like, this is what anime can be, right? And I think this is just, this is a great series. I just can't get enough of, saying this is what anime should be, like a 2021 animation. Yeah. So this goes to Osama ranking. And I don't need to go on to detail too much about it. We've pretty much said all we can say about Osama ranking, both in the reviews about it in previous episodes, as well as during this award show. So yeah, my award goes to Osama ranking, or ranking of kings. So that was my best series. Next on the line, I guess, going back to Dark. I guess, do you want to go with that now? Or
Yeah. So I will also do choose Osama ranking. I think this overall was a pretty solid year. And by pretty solid, I think it was pretty great. I think we had a lot of good new stuff. We had some really good, some really good, what would you call it? Like new series.
Mhm.
And so I think, but yeah, ultimately I had to give it to Osama ranking. Granted, all that like recency bias or whatever.
yeah, that's
Um,
also a thing.
for me, because it's like I binged this literally yesterday.
So it's fresh in your mind, yeah, the impact.
Yeah, but it's also like I don't know if there is another show this year, another new show, especially this year, where I would sit down and do that off of the first episode and say to myself, okay, yeah, no, this is something extremely special and I need to like finish all of this now. And yeah, just pretty much echoing Spire's sentiments. I think they've been showing angles to characters in just extremely well-paced manner. I think their introduction to characters and then essentially flipping them on their head for you, like as a viewer, has been really good, and also in a way as to seem very natural, right? Like it also doesn't make you feel guilty about the way you felt about them.
Right.
It manages to it and show you like, here's how this character actually fully feels, fully functions.
Like,
I think,
like a lot of the development is they're still assholes, like in terms of what they did, but there was some sort of like reasoning, like human reasoning behind that. You know what I mean?
yeah, or that a misunderstanding, a very reasonable and real misunderstanding, or just like, I don't really know how to describe it. I, bel- I think a really good example is uh, Debin is the guy with the who controls the snakes. I think it's Debin, right?
Orochimaru.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So like, I mean, sort of like his like sort of arc and how initially we're kind of shown him to be like this ruthless asshole, um,
Right.
and
Like the
the
assassin
dot.
kind of
Yeah,
ish.
the sort of like assassin, like shadow figure. It's also like the dialogue that they selectively have in scenes makes you interpret that.
Hmm.
Even with Hilda, like the mother, like you think like, oh, she's like the stereotypical like the stepmother,
Hmm.
gonna be the hard ass. And then they sort of flip that dialogue on its head. Like
Hmm.
um sort of like when they're sword fighting and Devin being like, sure, like, do you really think Boji's gonna win? And then it's sort of like him more knowing how this is gonna work, more so than being like, oh, of course, like Espo's gonna win, like better. More of
Hmm.
like him understanding, like, oh, I've known Boji like for long enough, and I've looked after like for long enough, understand like this isn't something that these people will accept. Like shit, I don't know, just like stuff like that
Right.
has been pretty amazing.
Right. Yeah. Again, I we could definitely like talk about Osama ranking all day, but it's just there's just like a lot of things that are just so well integrated together to make the series. So, anyways, thank you, Dark, for your talk about your best anime of 2021. Again, it was some ranking. And host, you are next. What is your best anime of 2021?
Unlike you guys, I didn't. I'm not a. I don't conform to the masses
Okay.
because I know you guys are going to talk about Osama Rank. I didn't watch it.
Okay.
You should.
I don't. What if I don't want to? The more you say I
That is
should, makes me
unfortunate.
more I don't want to watch it.
Well,
What
what
a
did you
rebel.
watch that you want to post up as best anime?
My best anime. Let's talk about the runner-up first. Runner-up, Azur Lane,
Okay.
because it's basically what I wanted from Concole, and it delivered. Good stuff. Honolulu's pretty cool. One episode dedicated to her, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Also, that Asanagi end art, pretty spicy.
And your
My other
first,
runner-up, I guess, would have to be
your okay, your other runner-up.
I don't know, Miracle-chan. I really like that series. Good.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
you don't
that's
have to
cool.
force yourself to have two runner-ups, but sure.
No,
Okay.
I'm not forcing myself. Yeah, Miracle-chan was good.
Okay.
The cool arc just ended, and major character development there. That was cool. But then another evil rises, and I was like, damn, is this Corpse Party? Ah, yeah, exactly.
All right. What
Yeah,
was what
exactly.
was your worst
Yeah, but
series?
yeah,
Or sorry,
that
best series. Best series.
my best series,
Uh-huh.
my top series of this season, I guess.
Of the year.
Oh yeah, of this
Of the
year.
year, yeah.
Yeah.
Of the year.
Believe it or not, it's the entire year.
I had to think long and hard about this because there's a lot of pretty cool seasons, or like it's front and back loaded. To me, it's like there was a good one here, and then the middle ground was eh. The back, and then the back end was pretty fine. But I'm
Okay.
gonna have to give it to
Mhm.
Selection Project
Okay.
again. Damn, why does that series keep winning? Why? I guess in the sea of isekais. Not that there were any bad
It was
isekais.
your one savior. It was your one savior in the series of random isekais. Is what you're saying?
'Cause there's a bunch of bad isekai. Did I say best
Um,
isekai already? Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
did.
you did.
Oh yeah. Since I said best isekai, so I had to exclude this from the list. I was like, all right, let's give it to the one series that surprised me the most and kept me hooked till the end, and that's Selection Project. So yeah, there you go.
all right. All right.
Good characters, good story, good songs. 3D was all right. Probably one of the better 3Ds I've seen in a while.
Okay.
But yeah, it's short, but it's sweet. I guess 13 episodes. Yeah, 13 episodes.
Okay. Pretty good. Near. What about you? Best series
Hey,
of
near
year.
last but not least.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Um. So,
Do it near.
there's a lot of good series this year. You know, again, I kind of agree with Toast where I feel like the year was very front loaded. You know what I mean? Obviously, as
Okay.
a consequence of COVID, sort of pushing stuff into winter season of this year. Um, but yeah, I feel like it was very front loaded. I feel like the middle was okay, and then fall had quite a few hitters as well, right?
Mm.
But yeah, there was a lot of stuff. Um, obviously, Osama ranking was very good. I do like that series quite a lot. But personally, I'm going to give my best anime of the year to Sunny Boy. Um,
Okay.
because um, I don't know. It's just a Sunny Boy is a series where it's got sort of I don't really know how to say this without sounding really pretentious, but like Sunny Boy has sort of this like facade of like complexity. You know what I mean? Where the
All right.
premise, where a bunch of students get teleported to another dimension, and they've got these superpowers, and there's all this like other dimensional stuff going on. It's sort of a facade to the immense simplicity of the
Mm.
series themes, right? Which is obviously a coming of age story, right? As many school themed series are, but it's a coming of age story and a story about people sort of drifting apart, right? And the way it uses this very complex, these like complex like other dimensional, there's multiple worlds, you know, everyone's sort of got different goals in mind, you know, there's all this stuff going on. it's this super simple message of, you know, in life people just drift apart, sometimes for no real reason at all, right?
Mhm.
And I think this series conveys that so beautifully, and it never tells you, you know what I mean? It never is like this is what you should have gotten out of this series. Like, there's no ending sequence where it's like, huh, I guess this was the theme all along. You know what I mean? It
Right.
sort of just ends on this very melancholic, like, sort of see you next time note kind of thing. And it's really, really good, you know?
Right.
And its visuals are, again, they're very simple. They're very, very colorful. When I covered it in the podcast, I commented on, how when um most anime series, well, not most, but a lot of anime series these days, when you have very far away shots, there will be, sometimes there'll be CG characters, or there will be very low like detail, like essentially they might as well just be fucking squiggly lines, right? Sunny Boy sort of shifts art styles when it goes to a very far shot, and it sort of becomes this, like, the characters no longer have outlines, they're sort of just colors and shapes, right?
Right.
And it they sort of blend into the very simple backgrounds, and just the series is just like visually, like, it's simple, but it all fits, you know what I mean? And it really helps you sort of stay in, like, stay sort of immersed in the world, and
Mhm.
it's just really good. And that, on top of its extremely spare use of music, right? There are very, very, very few moments where music
Yeah,
comes
a
in.
lot of it's kind of them kind of either having dialogue or kind of staying in silence, which
Yeah,
I keep coming back to this, and I kind of pointed this out when I was talking about audio visuals, or sorry, audio in terms of Aquatope as well, right? And it started even way back, like years ago. And part of why I also like, for instance, Kyoani's Nichijo, right, was obviously it had a good soundtrack, but it also knew when to use silence.
yeah,
And I think that's also a big part of Sunny Boy as well.
yeah. It's very, very rare that music comes in. Obviously, very key emotional moments, but it knows when an emotional moment doesn't need music. You know what I mean?
Right. It
And
doesn't need sweeping orchestras.
yeah, it's super smart. And the music that does play is it's like a genres you wouldn't typically um expect for an
Mm.
anime series. A lot of, like, there's some more ambient, like, rock, stuff like that. And it's just really, really good. Just It's super, super, like, really, really nice aesthetically. You know, Obviously, like I said earlier, it's purely character driven, right? Like, there's no overarching plot where they have to defeat the bad guy. You know, it's very much just sort of they're stranded in this other world, and obviously, when you read into it, the other world is, their other world is sort of a metaphor for the the comfort and coziness of home, and then the other worlds that they step out into and sort of, traverse as the series goes along, to sort of figure out what's going on. you know they're not as safe, which is, a very obvious metaphor for stepping out of, the comfort of home and into, whether it be working life or just high school, just something that's out of your comfort zone. I mean, and it does it without beating you over the head, right? It's very effective, but it's not overbearing. And I think it really helps that, it's purely just dialogue driven. Um, and it's really, really good. But yeah,
Right.
it's, to me, it's one of those, it's one of those series that only comes along every like few years. You know what I mean? It's very much a a it's from the mind of one man. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a collaborative effort between a bunch of talent. It's very much just the vision.
It's a
Or
concentrated concept.
yeah,
It's not like
it's one guy wants to put this on the screen, and he's gonna do it, and he did it, and it's really fucking good.
right.
But yeah,
It has an
it's,
indie feel in a sense.
yeah, it's
Right.
it's yeah, it's definitely my best anime for sure.
Okay. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And yeah, I wasn't surprised at all that you listed this on your boy. But yeah, I'm glad that it got some more shout outs during this awards show. And with that, we are finally done with the 2021 anime end of the year award show. Done really talk about slash reviewing all the series in 2021, and from this episode onward, or from next episode onward, we are going to be talking about the 2022 series that are coming in. I know next episode is going to be pretty much smack dab into like episodes 2 or 3 of most anime series. So we're going to be pretty much hitting the ground running with that. But yeah, I know again, I just, I guess I'll just wrap it up again. I know everybody's kind of tired. It's been a long episode, but I know, it's been another year, end of the year award show, and I just wanted to thank everybody, both, you know, listening in the chat in here during the live stream, as well as everybody listening there in the podcast for sticking with us throughout this entire year. Another year of COVID, but I'm glad that we could all stick together, thick and thin, as well as, watching anime, enjoying discussing anime, discussing, loving to shit on anime, right? Even if it's bad, or because it's bad, especially because it's bad. But I'm glad that everybody could, hang around, listen to us talk, shoot the shit, breeze. And I'm especially thankful again to these guys here, again, Near, Toast, and Dark, for hanging around and helping make the podcast what it is here. And I'm glad that I can enter 2022 again, talk about anime again with these guys. So before I get too sentimental here, I just like to again thank these guys for uh, hanging out with me, doing the podcast. And yeah, just thanks to everyone here involved, listening, participating, and here's to another great year
Yeah.
here.
Okay, Homo, wrap it up. Come on.
All right. So if that's everything, again, we next episode is we're just gonna be hitting the ground running in terms of reviews. If I know what was it, 37 or 42 shows or whatever it was, right? It's somewhere around like 30s, right? Somewhere high 30s,
I believe
high
so,
30s, low 40s or something. Yeah. So we'll be hitting the ground running. We'll have probably like 4, maybe 5 episodes before we wrap it up. So that'll be a decent chunk of the series that we want to cover. But if anybody does want us to cover a specific show, as always, just hit us up on social media or wherever, and we'll try to cover it there. And if you do like what we do, we stream every other Saturday starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayAnimecast. That's with the numeral 4. You can watch our live recording of the podcast where we talk about animation related media, Japanese anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. So check us out here. We have VODs of the recording on Twitch as well as on YouTube. So whichever format you prefer. We have updates and news on social media on Facebook, 4PlayAnimecast, and on Twitter handle at 4PPAnimecast. Again, all with the numeral 4, starting with the numeral 4. And yeah, until next time.